Here on Accidental Kiss, we try our best to do this. Analyze Asian dramas and not relive the trauma. Now that you know what's in store, just sit back and tune in more. Please enjoy our podcast, Accidental Kiss. Hello, Faith here. I am the host of Accidental Kiss. Today, we will be doing something a little different. Instead of doing a deep dive into the representation of a series, we will do both a spoiler-free and spoiler-filled review of a recent drama or movie with a sprinkle of representation on top, sometimes with a guest. And speaking of guests, Red, please feel free to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Red. I watch a lot of dramas, so that's why I'm great at talking about them.
Yeah. I mean, that's all you really need. All right. So today we will be talking about the very recent Netflix live-action series, Yu Yu Hakusho 2023. In this episode, we will be discussing parental neglect, death, bullying, teacher abuse, kidnapping, practically enslavement, child murder, and allusions to child kidnapping and molestation. Did I miss anything in there, Red? I wrote this pretty quickly last night.
No, I think you caught a lot of things that even I didn't notice.
Okay, all right. Just want to get the warnings out there. So be warned, these topics will come up in this episode. Now, let's start with the spoiler-free section. So starting off, the title, as we said, is Yu Yu Hakusho, which roughly translates to about Poltergeist Report or Ghost Report or Ghost Files, if anyone watched the English dub, the American English dub back in the day. So it came out very recently on December 14th, 2023. And I also want to talk a little bit about when the anime and manga came out, just because I'm a fan of the anime, and so I want to talk about that as well. The anime came out in 1992, and it ran until 1995, and the manga came out in 1990 and ran until 1994. So it's a pretty old property that they're just renewing very recently for the first time. And the author of the original manga is Yoshihiro Togashi, which, if you're an anime fan, you might also know is the original creator of Hunter x Hunter, which is also a very popular anime. And you can watch this series on Netflix. And you can also watch the anime, at least in Japan, on Netflix as well. Now, I want to mention the actors. So, starting with the main cast, we have Yusuke being played by Takumi Kitamura, who I know has done a lot of other live-action series and been in a lot of dramas. Kazuma Kuwabara, who is played by Shuhei Uesugi. Kurama, played by Jun Shison. Hie is played by Kanata Hongo. Botan, played by Kotone Furukawa. Koenma is played by Keita Machida, who I actually saw in a recent drama. It's called Cherry Magic, and it's like a BL, boys love drama. And yeah, he's quite good in that one. Very different character in here, though. And there's Sei Shiraishi, who plays Keiko. Go Ayano, who plays the younger Toguro, and he's been in a lot of stuff. I know I've seen him in a few dramas and also in a lot of commercials. And Kenichi Takito plays the elder Toguro. Meiko Kaji plays Genkai, and Giro Inagaki plays Sakyo. This show was produced and developed by Akira Mori and Kata Sakamoto. So Akira Mori is known for his work on Kill Bill and Alice in Borderland, which is pretty impressive. And Kata Sakamoto is known for so many Netflix shows like Alice in Borderland, First Love, Fishbowl Wives, and The Naked Director. The director of this show was Sho Tsukikawa, who also directed a show called Let Me Eat Your Pancreas, which I've never watched, but the title is very interesting, so I hope to watch it someday. And the writer is the same person who his name is Tatsuro Mishima. And he is also writing the upcoming 2024 City Hunter, which is the first time I've heard of a drama adaptation of that manga series. I've seen the Korean version with Lee Min-ho, but I've never seen a Japanese version. Maybe there has been one, but I've never seen it. So this will be interesting. All right. So now that we've gotten those things, basic information out of the way, let's talk about our relationship to the show. Let's start with you, Red. What is your relationship to Yu Yu Hakusho?
Oh man, so it stems from the anime really. When I was a kid and I would watch it, not the manga. I don't think I was understood what manga was yet when I was that age, but but like I started watching it really late at night. I think it was on Adult Swim first, yeah, and I would just stay up really late and just watch it and just enjoy the entire show. I was a really big Kurama fan, as you are. So I was
think,
just
a
like
lot of
really
people are.
invested.
It's like,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah. Yeah. There's like two main fandoms in Yu Yu Hakusho, Kurama or Hiei. It's like one or the other. Like,
my husband's Hiei and I'm Kurama.
I was Hiei, yes. I was Hiei, you were Kurama. Yeah. I mean, I guess some people like the other characters, but it was mostly them.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely have a very similar relationship. Honestly, it's a saga. Like, this show literally changed the trajectory of my life. I will say, I remember exactly when I watched this show. I remember exactly how it happened. I remember I was in middle school, I believe. I don't remember exactly the age, but probably 11 or 12, something like that. And I remember, it came on Adult Swim because it came to the US a lot later. It came out in the 90s in Japan, but it didn't come to the US until like the 2000s. And so that was when like anime in general just became really, really popular in the US. And it was like everywhere. And a lot of the really famous shows were coming on TV. And I remember, seeing this on Adult Swim, just like you, really late at night. Like I was up really late for some reason, as you do. So I remember literally it was late at night and it was during the Maze Castle arc. They were literally at the Maze Castle arc. And I remember watching it and there was a marathon for some reason. I don't know why, but there was a marathon of the show and I watched the entire marathon that night. I stayed up until like probably I don't know how late it was, but I stayed up probably till like 3 or something in the morning watching Yu Yu Hakusho. Yes, I was so obsessed. Like I got so hooked so quickly because I just love these characters, especially Hiei, of course. But like I just love the characters. I love their dynamic. I loved seeing them together interact. Like they were just so much fun and so funny, and the dub was actually really good, and back then that was difficult back then, it seemed, to get a really good dub, but like they really did it. And so I fell in love with the show. I went to sleep and then I woke up and all I could do was like go online and find everything, all the information I could find about the show. That's all I did. I just like obsessively started looking up stuff about the show, and I come across a lot of fan fiction, and that made me think that Hiei and Kurama were actually dating because I didn't know much about the show. And like all the fan fiction has them dating, and so I was like, oh my god, are they a couple? Like I really thought they were. Like that's how.
I didn't have a computer yet at that point, so that's why I mostly only saw it on the TV.
Oh no, I only saw it on the TV at that point, but like I had a computer where I could go up and like research everything about it, and I did that. And so
where your parents couldn't stop you from reading fan fiction.
Exactly. So I was like so obsessed with it. And then I saw that there were all these like fan sites, because back in the day there used to be like, GeoCities and stuff like that. And there were like these fan sites about Yu Yu Hakusho. So I decided to make my own fan site because I was so obsessed with the show. And I wanted to like interact with other people who were obsessed with the show and just write things about it. And I literally made a website. That's how dedicated I was to this show. I think, honestly, if it wasn't for this show, I don't even know. I mean, of course, I think I would have still had an interest in Japanese culture in Japan, but I don't know if I would have had the same, I guess, dedication, like to the point where I'm like, oh, I need to do like I think this show just really changed my brain chemistry or something. I don't know, but I just fell in love with everything, like the song, the music, the characters, like I love this show so much. It's my favorite anime. It still is. Every time I go back and watch it, I'm always like, wow, I'm so amazed by how great of a story it is and how much the character like really influenced me, and I can quote stuff from it, at least the English version still, and like it's a big part of my life. I was just gonna say that if that wasn't clear. It's a very big part of my life. So when I heard this live action remake was being made, I was very what's the word? I felt like I should be cautious. Let's say that. That's a nice way of putting it.
Okay.
I felt a little trepidation, I guess. All right. Okay. So enough about my fangirling as I like literally grab my Hiei plushie and like. All right. So now I will give a spoiler-free summary of the series. Yusuke Urameshi is a 17-year-old delinquent boy who unexpectedly dies by saving a little boy from getting hit by a car by jumping in front of the car himself. He is then greeted by Botan, the Grim Reaper, who informs him that he has a chance to be brought back to life. He ends up taking the offer and takes on the job of a spirit detective for the spirit world after he's resurrected. All right, then, since we're still in the spoiler-free section of this show, without spoiling anything, Red, what did you like about the show?
So definitely like the CG. I thought the CG was really well done, and even in some parts like realistic, where they made, and it's hard to like make, especially like anime scenes look more realistic sometimes.
Oh,
right? Yeah. So I really liked like how well they did the CG in that. And then I'd say like the casting of Keiko was pretty good, and Sakyo. I liked Sakyo. Yeah. And I liked Yusuke. I have some points where I didn't, but that'll come later. I liked Yusuke.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought Yusuke was a good casting. Yeah. Then the fight scenes actually were like pretty decently done, and like again, like it's hard to do with something like an anime since like they're quite like unrealistic.
yes.
And the one part actually, it was like I liked how they pieced the story together to like make it fit in. Not this is a one of my pro and con ones, so the cons will come later. But yeah. Same. Yeah, like there's parts where I thought they did a good job condensing it. And that's about it.
No, yeah, okay. No, that's quite a bit, honestly. I think that's, quite a bit of praise. Actually, when I really thought about it, I also had more to praise about the show than I thought. You know, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, they changed so much and not in a good way, you know, but then I went back and watched and I was like, oh, actually, they did quite a few things quite well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, same for me. I agree with you. The cinematography, CGI is amazing. Like, so good. Like, top notch. You can really tell where the money went. It shows. It shows. Like, really good. There's a few places where even the CG is still off, like, especially when it comes to certain characters. But I'll talk about that later, more in the spoiler-filled section. But yeah, for the most part, though, the CG looks amazing. I did not expect it to look that good. So, yeah, definitely thumbs up for that. And also all the action scenes, the fight choreography, really, really good. Like you see some of the stuff they do, it's like quite nice and varied as well, which I think was pretty good. We're able to do all that and they took all that time and it just looks really, really good. Also, as you said, a lot of the characters, like the acting for some of the characters, I put Keiko first as well. Like I think Keiko's acting was top notch. Like she was the best. She was the most like her character, and the acting was really good and it was very believable to the character. Like I really felt like, okay, this is Keiko. Like this is Keiko. No one else is Keiko. This is Keiko right here. Also, some honorable mentions. I think the younger Toguro also, I think it was quite good. Yeah. I think, really, really sold it to me. Elder Toguro also very much like the character, you know, the character's, I would say pretty one-dimensional, but like, you know, it's a fun character. So yeah, I think he played it quite well. Also, Sakyo, I agree. Sakyo was really good. There were some changes to his character in this version, but he mostly lived up to what you would expect Sakyo to do, right? So yeah, he lived up. Also, Genkai, I think the person who played Genkai did a really good job in her character. I will talk more about that later. That comes a con, not because of her acting, but just like, you know, because what they did with the character. But anyway, she was really good. Yusuke, I think is really good. Like you said, I think he's really good in some scenes. I would say even most scenes, but there are some times where he's a little, is that Yusuke? I don't know. But Kuwabara also, surprisingly, like when I first saw that he was really attractive and blonde, I was like, that's not Kuwabara, you know. But then when he was in the show, I do think he has, I saw his acting. I think he has the spirit of Kuwabara. I think he definitely has the spirit of Kuwabara. I could see him playing the character. Definitely. I felt Kuwabara moments from him. And also, of course, Tarukane, like, come on, like, literally they got I literally think they just like photocopied him out into reality. He like 3D printed him from the anime and was just like, here's the guy, you know, like they made him a little bit more realistic, I guess, but like, they literally, you know, I would just say Tarukane, like, honestly, I made him as an actual point as just him. Like he just, embodied the character perfectly. I mean, there were some changes they did to his character, you know, because they did that with a lot of characters, but overall, he had the spirit of the character. He looked like the character. Like, he was Tarukane, like no question there. Also, I was, like you said, I was a little impressed by how they could fit so much into 5 episodes because and have the story not be completely a mess. You know, they were able to keep it going and keep the narrative going, keep the flow going, and surprisingly well considering how little time they had, you know. So I'll give them like kudos for that, right? Also, up until halfway through episode 3, the pacing is pretty good. Actually, all of the things that they have going on, it goes through it quickly, but like the pacing is still pretty reasonable, I would say, in the first 2.5 episodes. Like once you get halfway through episode 3, it just kind of falls out to the wayside. But like up until then, it's pretty good, I would say. Actually, rewatching it, I thought, yeah, this is pretty good. And then also they had a lot more scenes, even more so than the anime did, in Keiko's ramen shop, in the family ramen shop, which I think was nice. It was a nice touch to see his interaction with Keiko and her family a little bit. And so I like that. I like that. And also I will say, like, I don't remember why I put this, but I said creativity. I guess just like, I don't even remember why I put it there, but I guess they were able to create a narrative that worked, but while still jamming all these, they literally jammed 2 seasons of the anime into 5 episodes, right? That's like several arcs, like at least 5 or 6 arcs, right? They shoved into 5 episodes, right? And so they had to get kind of creative to like say like, okay, well, Sakyo's already, oh, okay, sorry, I don't want to get into spoilers, but anyway, actually, I don't know if it's spoilers because they say it from the beginning, right? That from the first episode. Yeah, so never mind. It's not spoiler really. Because like from the first episode, pretty much they say he's like trying to like drill this tunnel to Demon World, right? And they like find a way to connect all of those things together and, make it so it fits into the narrative. And so I think it's pretty, they have to be pretty creative to make that all work. Okay. Yeah. All right. So then let's talk about what you didn't like about the show.
Quite a lot, but I'll leave most of it for the spoiler version. But
yeah, some of it you have to get into spoilers.
So I disliked many things. I definitely really disliked how they removed a lot of like the lighthearted moments and the things where it really made like the characters more lovable, and like it pulled you into the scenes more because they also have really human moments that like get you more invested in the characters and things like that I felt like they kind of completely removed out, and I didn't really like that.
Yeah.
And as much as it was my pro, it is also my con. We're piecing things together. They shaved down a lot of things. So in some ways, I feel like it didn't always make sense that like it got to that point. I was like, how did this story progress like this? Yeah. Because it's like shaving off things that help like build like the story to the point in the original story. And then there are quite a few characters I just felt like just weren't like true to their original in like the anime and manga, like because of like the character ends up becoming one-dimensional, and like and they originally had so much personality and there was like so much more to them, when I feel like it could have still been put in some ways.
Oh yeah, definitely. It definitely could have. I think they definitely could have. Like, I especially think our favorite characters were done disservices, like, I think.
Oh, yeah.
For me personally. Like,
Yeah, like, they didn't have the same appeal as they did originally. No. Yeah.
No. Like, I would say in the anime, and I'm sure the manga, if I read it, like, but especially in the anime, Hiei is my favorite character, like, hands down. And then Kurama's my second favorite. But in this show, in this live action, I don't know if they would be even in my top 5.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Same. Yeah, Kurama's my favorite, and he just, I just was not,
I'm
trying not to spoil it, but man.
You know, like, I'm trying to think in this version, I'm trying to think who would even be my favorite. I think Keiko would actually be probably my favorite
Keiko's,
in this show. And, maybe like,
Sakyo.
Maybe, Sakyo, or like the younger Toguro, maybe, and maybe
Koenma wasn't bad.
Maybe.
Yeah, Koenma, I think just because the actor was good, but that's...
Yeah.
The actor was good, and that's why I kind of like... Maybe I just think the actor's good looking, I don't know. But yeah, the wigs and costuming, too. The wigs in general just... They're just like plain bad. Like, I really feel like they could have taken from the CG budget to just get a little bit better wigs. Or someone who's better.
Just a little bit, to get a good wig.
Yeah,
it can't cost that much. It can't cost that much. Like, it can't, like, compared to CG.
Like, there's so many fantasy shows and movies that do it well. Like, I don't see how they could have
study them. Like, come on. In this
figured out how they did it well instead of just going with it.
But they always have bad wigs in these live action adaptations, though. Always, almost always. Like, it's really rare to see a good wig.
Is it now they're like trademark?
I don't know. I guess maybe they just like to do that. I mean, there's like shows I really, really like, but yeah, sometimes or characters I really, really like. The wigs, I'm just like, oh, so bad. Like, how did you not? Like, how did you have a whole? Really bad. How did you have a whole like, makeup and like crew, right, that's working on these people, right, and like hair and makeup crew who did not see this wig and was like, maybe get a better one. Like, I don't know. I didn't know.
Like, I couldn't even look at Kurama as the actor, and the actor himself is really attractive, right? But then with the wig on, I was like, with the wig on, I was just like, I can't.
All you can see is the wig. That's the thing. No. I don't know if you have any other things after this, but
the costuming, just like, I feel like they put a little too much effort in. It's like Kurama, like, it's just too fancy.
In some ways.
Like, why is it so fancy? It's just supposed to be a school uniform. In some ways,
they didn't put enough effort.
Yeah, like the school uniforms for like Yusuke's school, like, it's just it's like weird, and then Kurama suddenly has this really fancy school uniform.
Exactly. I know. He's got like it's true. He has a really nice like elaborate design. Like, it's like really like intricate, and you're like, what? Like, this is a school uniform? Like, wow, let's go to really rich school.
Can his mom afford that? While she's in the hospital.
It's like, wow. Yeah, no, like Yusuke school, like those uniforms look so plain. I'm gonna go more into the uniforms later, because it's actually a really like significant part of Yusuke's characters is tied to the uniform, which they totally ignored in this version. But we'll get back to that in the spoiler-filled section. But I just had one to say that I also agree with you with the wigs. Like, in the spoiler section, I put in a kind of nitpick section because there was some stuff that I was like, I didn't like, but I don't really think it's like, it doesn't really take away from the show. And I was thinking of putting wigs in that, but no, the wigs are so distracting that they take away from the show. Like, it's really hard for me to focus.
They really are. Like, you can't focus on the characters sometimes because you just hate the wigs.
All I see is that wig. I'm like, oh my god, like, they're trying to have a serious moment. I'm like, oh my god, that wig is so bad. Please get rid of it. Like, please. It's like, oh my god. Like, I guess I just should be glad they didn't attempt to give like Hiei a wig. Thank freaking god. Oh my god.
Hiei, like, thankfully was like, it's not truly original, but it was better.
It's like, it wasn't Hiei's hairstyle, but at least, they made it more realistic looking, which I'm fine with, as long as it's not distracting. Okay.
It's not distracting.
Okay, so I totally agree with a lot of what you said. I didn't like how dark and gritty it was. It just, it was too serious for Yu Yu Hakusho. I was just like, what is this? Like, what show is this? Like, you could just tell by the background was also really dark. Like, and this is a problem with a lot of shows and movies, especially movies nowadays. They just
in the US
always make them dark, especially in the US. Like, they always make them dark. They're so dark.
It's always a teen drama.
What's going on? And it's like, you can't even see what's going on sometimes in the fights because it's so dark. You have to literally turn up the brightness on your computer screen
TV.
To see like to see what they're doing, because it's just so dark. It's like, come on, turn on a light, you guys. You have all these lighting effects and like equipment nowadays. Please turn on a light. It's just so dark. I'm sorry, I hate like when a show is so dark and gritty. And just to be dark and gritty, if the show is naturally like that, and if that's just the way the show is, like, actually naturally, then okay, fine. But like, every show can't be like that, okay? Every movie can't be that way. Come on, we need to have something different. And this is what that felt like. It felt like I was. I mean, I'll talk about this later more, but like, it didn't feel like an anime to me. It didn't feel like Yu Yu Hakusho. It just felt like some generic action movie, and I just. I didn't like it. I didn't like how, like you said, there weren't enough lighthearted moments. There wasn't a lot of silly moments with the characters together, like funny moments, because there's so much of that in Yu Yu Hakusho. That's part of the charm, is that it's really funny. It's a really funny show with a lot of jokes and a lot of like lighthearted humor, with also some dark elements to it. Definitely, there is some darkness, there is some grittiness, but it's not all of it. Whereas in this version, it's pretty much all of it, and it gets really old after a while, because you're just like, okay, well, it's just gonna be dark and gritty the whole time, and I can be able to see most of the stuff, and I don't really care, and like, it's just, I don't care about these characters because I don't know them. Like, it's just like, okay, okay, anyway, and so you know, like I said before, also, as you said, the fact that they crammed a lot of stuff in, it's like, yeah, it's kind of amazing they were able to get so much in. But then at the same time, it's like, why cram stuff into 5 episodes when you could have just had 10 episodes and made it fleshed out and it would have been a much better show.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
It was just so rushed, especially after halfway through episode 3. It just, everything just started going, blah, 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 okay, blah, 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 and it's like, okay, like, what's going on anymore?
It's like you're getting whiplash.
If I didn't, exactly. It's like, if I didn't know all these characters and all these storylines, I don't even know if I would be able to follow, to be honest, you know? Like, I'd just be like, what's going on? Like,
yeah.
What's happening? Who's
like,
this?
If you're
Who's
not
that?
an original fan, can you actually enjoy the show?
I don't know. I mean, so to be fair, I know some people who have like seen it and they said, well, okay, I know a few people, I guess, who have watched it and they seem to like it fine. One person, she watched it, but then at episode 3 she started to get confused and stopped, I think, because it's just too much. But some people seem to say that if, like, I've seen a few reviews where they're like, oh, I haven't seen the original show, but I liked it or whatever. So I think it depends on the person. I guess if you're someone who doesn't really need necessarily character focused storytelling, then maybe it's fine. Or if you're just really into action and you just want the action and the story is cohesive enough, then it's fine, I guess. But if you really want like character driven story, then no, I don't think like it. And I think it's gonna end, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
Another thing that I really didn't like about it is that how none of the big emotional beats felt earned. So the thing is, like, they tried to have their cake and eat it too. That was another problem I had with the show, is that it's like, okay, if you're going to skip over all this stuff, like really important arcs and really important character development things, then you should just completely get rid of those things in general. Don't even try to like build up to those things. But there's certain points where like they try to give you a big character moment that was really big in the end manga. Really just, you know, was heart-wrenching and really caught our emotion. But the thing is, you don't have the character development and the time to make it meaningful. And so because they didn't do that, it falls really flat. Like none of the emotional beats felt earned. It's like certain characters die or something happens to certain characters, right? And you don't care because you don't know these characters. You just met them like 1 episode ago or 2 episodes ago, right? And so you don't really know much about them. They haven't been developed. Their friendship hasn't really been developed. Their relationships haven't developed well. And so you just don't really care so much because you're like, wait, who was that again?
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Like,
yeah.
like, you know, like even for me, I'm like trying to remember everyone who was in there. Of course, I know all the characters because I've watched the anime many times, but like, it's like if I didn't know the series, like if I had just watched this or heard of these characters' names and I had to remember all these people and all these characters and then also feel sad that dead or died or whatever or something happened to them, it's like, who was that? You know? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, some person. Okay. Like, it just feels like they kind of, another thing that kind of pissed me off about it was that it felt like they were just kind of going through the motion and just going through the big story elements or the big story moments they knew that fans liked, right? Like, oh, certain fight scenes, oh, certain, you know, things that happen, certain characters dying, things like that. And they wanted to like put that in there because they know that's really popular and people like that. But then like they didn't actually build up to it, right? So it made no sense. So it's kind of like in this context. And so it's like, well, you might as well not put it in there at all because it really makes no sense at this point. And it's just kind of a waste because it's like, well, I don't care. Like none of this was earned. None of this. I don't know these people. I don't care if they win. Why is he even here? Why is this person? Why is this character even here? What is their motivation for being here? Really? Like, do they need to be here? Like, you know, like. Yeah,
like you don't actually feel sad when any of them die.
No.
Like.
no. It's like, who is that? Oh, that guy? Okay. Oh no, he's dead.
Oh, how sad.
Okay. Oh no, so sad. Speaking of not being earned, they did Genkai dirty. Okay.
They did.
They did her real dirty. They did her character real dirty. I mean,
the actress herself,
the acting was great.
Yeah,
she's amazing. She's great. You know, perfect Genkai. But like, they did her dirty.
They did.
Okay,
they
did her dirty. And I'll go more into it later. But yeah, they did her dirty. And also, there was too much exposition. I noticed they were talking about a lot of things a lot because they had to put so much into 5 episodes. They had to cram it into 5 episodes, and so they had to like just get rid of things that would have been just shown like right in the anime or things like that because they had to explain it because they only have 5 episodes to get all the stuff out, and so they would just talk and say like, oh, this is his backstory and this is blah blah blah, oh, I found out what happened, blah blah blah, or whatever, and they had to talk a lot because, well, they had no time, right? And yeah, and also just wasted potential. I think what makes me the most upset about the series is not that it was so necessarily so bad. It was more that it could have been so much better. They had great actors. They had amazing effects. They had a really good team behind them. People who produced really great works, right? Like really amazing shows. And they had all this potential, but then they decided, oh no, we're going to spend more money on the CG. So, the story is just going to be left to the wayside, and we're just going to only have time. We only can afford 5 episodes. And it's like, okay, well, I would have preferred them to put less money into the CG and a little more into the story. That would have been nice.
Yeah.
For
and
me.
Maybe involve
personally.
the original, or is he alive? The original author.
Oh,
He's alive, right?
Yes, he is. Oh my god.
Sorry.
Alive, right? Yes.
Involve him.
Togashi, the original creator, is still alive. Yes, he is still alive.
Probably like rolling in his bed, not his grave, his bed.
But to be fair, I don't really think he had anything to do with this, honestly.
It would have been better if he did like One Piece.
It probably would have been better, but I did remember hearing that he suffered a lot of problems with his body, like his body condition, like he had like a lot of pains, like writing this, like when he wrote the original Yu Yu Hakusho, like he started to like suffer from lack of sleep, and he started like having a lot of pains, like his back and things like that. Like he was just like in so much pain and like didn't have time to like do what he besides work on this, right? And so I think he had a I'm not gonna say how he feels about the show right now or anything like that, but I think he did have some pretty, from what I've read and what I've heard online, he had some not so great with the last part of the series.
Too bad,
which is horrible, but I mean, but that's how they overwork creators, right? Like it's like they're always going to be working, so I get it, like so I don't know how much involved he wanted to be or not. I have no idea.
That's true.
But no, it would have been nice, if he would have been involved, and also it would have been nice if they just would have, I don't know, given it at least 5 more episodes, like a normal series. Like I don't know,
10 or 12 episodes. Would have been perfect.
They could have done so much with it, but no, they were just like, nope. Like, and that's the thing is, like, I see, like, pretty much, I thought right until they finished the training with Genkai, pacing is actually quite good. I think. It was actually totally
not
fine.
Too bad
it's totally reasonable with the kind of story they want to do. Yeah, it's not too bad. If they would have went with that and then had him actually fight Hiei and then slowly got to later introducing Toguro and like blah, 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 I think it could have been a lot better. But they didn't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, I've said too much. Anyway, so... Okay, so then, since this is the last part of the spoiler-free part of this episode, what is your rating for the show? So we like to rate shows here on Accidental Kiss through kisses. So 0 to 5 kisses, 0 being the worst and 5 being the best, based on, we usually do representation, but for this I want to do based on the story and just the show itself. So I've split it up into 3 different parts. So give me a rating for the visuals, a rating for the story, and a rating just overall, I would say, watchability of the show. So what do you think, Red, for the visuals? What would you give this? 0 to 5 kisses.
The visuals, I would say 3.5 kisses.
3.5. Okay.
Right. Like 3 kisses and a cheek kiss.
Okay. All right. Yeah. The thing is, we also usually will give our kisses to certain characters or things like that. But I guess with the visuals, it's more of the staff, right? Like it's like the behind the scenes people, so it's not really the actors.
So
that's true. Yeah. But you could give them to the staff, I guess, if you want.
Yeah, to the staff, to the CG staff.
Yes, the CG staff. I will give 4 kisses because I think the visuals are really, really good, like better than I ever expected. So I will give the visuals quite a high score, and of course, to all the CG staff, all the people who worked on this, because it seemed like there was quite a lot of people. Because every time I looked at the credits, there were so many names. So I think a lot of people really worked on this. So kisses to all of you. Okay, how about the story?
The story. Like 2. I'd say like 2 kisses.
Okay. Yeah,
and I'm not even like would say the writers. The writers are not at fault. I feel like maybe they just didn't. They didn't even give anything to the writers. So
yeah. Yeah. I just think, they didn't have much to work with. They only had 5 episodes. Yeah. I'll give a similar score. I'll give them 2.5, just a little bit, just because I do think, it's a little impressive how creative they were with it to be able to get so much in 5 episodes. So I'll give them a little 0.5 for that. But the story, was not very good. It could have been a lot better. I wish they would have had time to really flesh it out more. And I'll give it to the writer. I don't think it was bad necessarily. I think he just didn't have the time, right?
Yeah, that's
okay.
fair.
Then overall as a show, how many kisses would you give?
Oh, it's really hard to like objectively give a when you're a fan of the original.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I kind of wish I had all my Yu Yu Hakusho knowledge erased, and then I could maybe give a more objective quote unquote score. But
yeah, it's really hard.
It's impossible. It's embedded too deep.
2.5. I'll say 2.5. 2.5.
Okay. Yeah,
but that's not objective.
Yeah. There you go. It's subjective, but oh well. That's just. Yeah, we're fans. We can't help it. You can't help it. Okay. Yeah, actually, I'm going to be little more generous. I'm going to give it 3 kisses just because overall I thought the acting was quite good. Mm-hmm. Are there any characters or any people you want to give your kisses to? Since
Keiko.
Overall, we can... Keiko, yeah.
Yeah, Keiko.
Yeah. I would say, okay, my 3 kisses, I would give 1 to Keiko. I'm going to give 1 also to Genkai because she deserves, like, God knows she deserves it. She deserves something like for how bad they did her. And I will give the other one I'll give it to Toguro just because I think like the younger Toguro, because I just think like the actor really, or at least to his actor, because like he really got into that character. Like
he was perfect.
Yeah. He just
perfect face,
he did all
everything.
Of it. Yes, perfect face, perfect voice. Like he really got into that character, so I think he deserves a kiss. I'll give it to him.
Yeah, I'll give 0.5.
Okay, 1.5. Okay, that's good. That's good enough. All right. Okay, so then this is the end of the spoiler-free section. We're going to take a brief break and then come back with the spoiler-filled section. We'll see you then.
Accidental kiss. Now, back to the podcast.
Okay, everyone, welcome back. This is the spoiler-filled section of the show. Please be aware that we will be discussing the entirety of many plot points and characters and comparing them with the original anime and maybe also manga. So, if you don't want to be spoiled, stop listening now. You have been warned. All right. Then I want to start off with changes to the original stories. Let's just get right into it. Spoilers. So, we mentioned this a little bit in the spoiler-free section, but speaking of the school uniforms, so in the original anime, and this is maybe in the manga as well, but especially in the anime, Yusuke actually, his uniform is very different from all the other people in the school. Like he has a greenish uniform where everyone else has like a kind of dark, kind of navy bluish uniform. And this is done on purpose to show how much he stands out, like how much of a delinquent he really is that he won't even wear the school uniform, right? And it also helps in the anime because it gives him a different color coding from the other main characters. And so he's green, Kuwabara is blue, Hiei is black, and Kurama's red. It's pretty significant to the story and also to his character. But in this version, he's wearing the same uniform as everyone else. Like he's wearing the main uniform. And Kuwabara is the one who's wearing a slightly different colored uniform. Then also we have here... Oh, by the way, if there's anything you notice in what I say about the changes, feel free to comment on them, Red. Yeah, sorry, I didn't put it there, but like, you feel free.
Yeah, but like Yusuke also, like, his uniform is like a little bit cropped, so it's like a cropped top jacket. Yeah. Like it's a little strange, because like for a delinquent, I feel like that's a little strange. But maybe it's fine.
Yeah,
maybe it's
maybe
fine.
90s.
Kuwabara's is
maybe
yeah, maybe 90s. Yeah, and then Kuwabara's is also like strangely really long. Like it's like a cape type jacket.
It's like a cape.
It's well, not like a cape, but it's just really long for some reason. And like they both have pretty normal-ish school uniforms, just like slightly more delinquent. Like
yeah.
So I'm just like, I don't know, it just like makes it look kind of strange. I think because they're trying to make Kuwabara look taller. That's why they did it. Maybe. Yeah, because he's supposed to be really tall.
Yeah, he is supposed to be the tallest out of everybody. But yeah, I think most of these people are all the same height or similar heights in this show. So yeah.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that was just hard to do.
Yeah, to find an actor to fit it. I mean, even with Toguro, it's hard to find someone as jacked as Toguro, right? Especially in Japan. Like, I feel like
exactly,
it's really hard.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I get it. A few changes I think are fine, but I think Yusuke having the same uniform as everyone else kind of is a disservice to his character because he literally has a different uniform, right? It's just at least in the anime. But anyway, okay. So then also the part where Yusuke saves the boy and ends up getting hit by a car and dies, right? So it was a little different. I mean, mostly the same, but also different. So first of all, Yusuke doesn't really spend much time with the boy before he saves him. Like in the anime, he has a whole like little scene where he's like, making funny faces for the kid to make him laugh and like, spending a little bit of time with them and
he plays with them
a little bit. And so like you see them have a little bit of it's not a lot, but it's a little connection there. Whereas in this version, literally he just picks up the ball the kid has and just passes back to him and that's it. Like there's no interactions in this section for some reason. They save that for later after he's already saved him for some reason.
And he doesn't even smile at the kid either. He still has like his that mug on the entire series.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just I feel like it would have helped a little bit with the character to see him have a more soft side towards the kid. Yeah, he saves the kid, but I feel like without that,
and it wouldn't have. It wouldn't have taken more time out of the
it wouldn't have taken that much
show
time
either to just have that little moment. Yeah,
exactly. It wouldn't have taken much time. They could have done it. It would have been really easy, but for some reason they just cut it out for some reason. And then, but then they decided to expand on the getting hit by the car part. And this is one part that I like, but then also don't like. I like that they played the original theme song in the guy's truck. Like I love that theme song so much. Like it's literally my karaoke staple. Like I'm always singing that song. But I love Smile Bomb. Amazing song. Just I wish they would have put it in the intro here, but maybe there's copyright stuff. I have no idea. Or maybe they just wanted to be gritty and, dark. So they're like, no, we need gritty music. We can't have happy, like whatever music. But anyway.
Yeah. I also just wasn't a big fan of like the setting of the getting hit by the car. It was like, why was it there? It was just supposed to be like a normal street.
Exactly. It was supposed to be a normal a normal street with a normal car just going on the street like normal. It's just that the kid went into the street and that's why he thought the kid was going to get hit. Which made sense.
And he didn't save anyone else. He was just like the child.
Exactly.
It was like everything happening around and he was like the child.
Exactly.
I mean, which you should, but
it's like the car, like literally I was surprised at the way that car was going. So the thing is, in this version, instead of it just being a normal person driving a normal car and then a kid jumps in front of them and they suddenly swerve because a kid just jumped in front of them out of nowhere, they have to be, and I get it, they did it because they wanted to connect the demon world being open because they have the tunnel thing being created by Sakyo already, and so they also had the Makai insects already out, and which are these insects that can like infect humans and turn them into demons. And so pretty much that's what happened to the truck driver, because it was a truck driver in this version and not a car driver, and he gets infected. Pretty much one of the Makais goes up at his nose or something, and then he gets infected and starts like just running over everything. And the fact that he only hit Yusuke and all of that crap was amazing. That's the miracle, okay? That is the miracle.
Yeah,
he only hit one person.
Like no one else was hit.
There were so many people in the way because he did not go on a normal street. He went on a street where people were walking. Okay, it wasn't a normal road.
Yeah,
it
was like a shopping street,
and he only hit Yusuke. How? Like how?
Yeah, it was just like it would be more interesting if they added more. Like if they wanted to go gritty, why not just go the whole way?
Exactly.
Like kill other people.
Kill people. Just kill people. Just do it. Like,
just kill them.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you're going to go that gritty and dark, right, and you're going to have this, like, really big, like, scene that they obviously did just for shock value, it's like, then do it right. Like, kill some more people because this kid shouldn't be the only one who gets in harm's way from this truck. Like, literally, there's a bunch of unsuspecting people who all of a sudden a big truck is, like, running through their shopping district. Someone else is going to get hit. I'm sorry. There's elderly people. There's like
people would be hit.
Other people would.
They can't run away. There's people. Yeah.
There is no way all those people could have ducked out of the way in time. I'm sorry. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Like I don't believe it. Unbelievable. And only hit him. No. And then after it hits him, the truck just like falls, like stops. It literally like falls over for some reason. It's like why? Why would a big truck?
For some reason.
Why would a big truck fall over from hitting a teenage boy? Like come on. Like,
a teenage boy.
Why? That makes no sense.
It didn't make sense at all. Like, yeah, the original, like, it stopped because it was just a normal guy, and he was like, oh my god,
I
like,
literally killed someone, you know, he's like horrified, right? Whereas this version, it's literally a Makai infected person, so he should still be fine, right? He should care. He's like a demon now. He should not care that he hit someone.
Yeah, he should be like happy.
And like, he shouldn't have even,
like, it would have made more sense if like it, like kept going.
Yeah, exactly. If he kept going, kept hitting more people, that would have been the most logical thing. I think that would have made more sense.
Yeah, and then we just focused on Yusuke or something. Like, that would have made more sense.
Yeah, but you know, they had to do this for shock value, and they had to make it stop after that so we could focus on Yusuke and not, you know, the Makai insect infected human, right? So yeah. So yeah, that was a little bit of a change that I didn't really like necessarily. Mm-hmm. Also, how about changes to Kuwabara?
Yeah, he was just too hot. Like, I think they could have even.
That's the main thing.
I just think
he's just too hot.
With makeup, I feel like they could have made him look more like Kuwabara.
Exactly.
Like, they could have kept the actor and then like add like the cheekbones and the longer chin.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Like,
they could have done stuff. They had all this technology and stuff. They could have definitely done some more to him. Like, they literally just had him already beaten up, which, okay, yeah, better than nothing, but like, it's like, no, he's way too attractive to be Kuwabara. Okay.
Yeah, he was. He was way too attractive.
He's way too attractive.
He was like, he did have the spirit of Kuwabara.
He did.
Like, that made him like lovable.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. He did have the lovable spirit.
But like, there was some of parts like where Kuwabara actually like, he has like a good moral sense where he sometimes like teaches Yusuke, and I wish there was a little bit more of that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He like, 'cause he has his own code.
Where he's like, Yusuke, that was bad.
Right. He has his own code. Even though he's like also a delinquent, he has his own code. Like, he won't steal. He won't hit women, which is like a double-edged sword in some ways. It's like, yeah, it's good that he doesn't like hit women, but then also he doesn't see them as like worthy to, you know, like he doesn't see them as worthy on his level to fight.
But he has good he has good intuitive sense too. Sometimes. Yes. Like, he'll like teach Yusuke and be like, Yusuke, why don't you like realize that this is the problem? Exactly. That's why the person is upset.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly. Yeah. He's very sensitive.
And there's just he's just kind of stupid.
Yeah. This version is just he's like, he can see spirits, which that's a big part of his character, is that he has like spiritual awareness, like really high spiritual awareness, like his whole family, honestly. Which also disservice, no Shizuru. Oh god, I can't say her name. Shizuru. Like, she's not in this show like at all. Which
and she was a good part of it.
She is great. I love her so much. I was so upset. Like, I was like, because she also has really high spiritual awareness. You can see all the stuff from Spirit World.
Yeah, and she adds a lot of like good humor to the show as well.
Yeah. Well, they didn't want that. Yeah. They didn't want that.
Yeah. Kuwabara too, though, like, I felt like it didn't make a lot of sense with him like seeing spirits and stuff, because like in the original anime, like there's a lot of little points that give you hints. Like, I feel like when Yusuke was going to see his funeral, they could have made Kuwabara like sneeze or, you know, like feel like get the chills when he passed by him at least. Yeah, it's like random, like suddenly he sees this thing and then he suddenly believes Yusuke and everything Yusuke tells him.
Exactly.
And I was like, that's kind of strange.
Yeah.
Like, I would just be scared.
Yeah, exactly.
But I wouldn't be like, I wouldn't believe you.
Yeah, but I think they're also like, they have the friends be like, oh, there's Kuwabara again, seeing spirits. And it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, sure, you can say that. And so that makes us, I guess, assume that he's seen them before, but it's like, it's kind of weird that he didn't notice Yusuke literally at his own funeral. But I guess technically in the anime,
when he did before.
I guess technically in the anime, I guess at the funeral part, he wasn't really paying attention to him, but like, but after that, he starts to like, you know, notice him more, and like when he's following him, because there's a whole arc of like, Yusuke
following him around, and him
following people he knows, you know, around, and like, you know, trying to help him the best he can and stuff like that. There's whole like character building.
Does he like possess Kuwabara?
Yes, he does possess Kuwabara to let Keiko know that not to burn it, like that he's coming back, and like
save his body.
He needs his body. Save his body or something like that. I think in that version it's like just to say he's coming back, and then I think there's another version where he's like, well, no, I think they say like, make sure his body is safe. Yeah, I think,
yeah.
So he can come back. So like there's a lot of character building moments that happen, because we have a whole like episode where Kuwabara literally is like, he can't fight anyone because he's trying to help his friend out who, is going to lose his job. So he literally has to study for a test and also not fight for like, I think a week or something. And he does this all for his friend. And so you see how much he really cares about his friends. And in this version, you do see how much he cares about his friends because he does feel bad that they got injured and he does want to be stronger to help like protect them. But I feel like there's more emotional and like character development with Kuwabara in the anime because you also see Yusuke seeing that too. And so you understand why he might be closer to Kuwabara in that version. But in this version, it's like, okay, he saw that Kuwabara was sad that he was dead. But even that, I don't know, I feel like it's not played the same way. And so like it just, I don't know, I feel like them being friends, like, yeah, maybe they'd be kind of buddy, but I don't feel like they'd be as close. Like I just feel like there's a lot of moments that are taken away that like,
yeah, it doesn't show, like, it doesn't make you feel like they're actually, like, as close as, like, how they ended up getting close in there.
Yeah. It doesn't really make sense, because they had a lot of time to, like, be around each other, and, okay, I'll talk about it a little bit later.
Get to like each other
I'll
more.
talk about it a little bit more later, but yeah. It's just not, he's not developed as well. Okay, how about Botan?
Oh, man.
Besides the wig.
So disappointed.
Besides the wig.
Yeah, besides the wig. The wig is distracting, too, but, like, and her costuming, too, I felt like it was a little strange, but then her, like, the actress herself isn't necessarily bad, but like,
no, I don't think she's bad.
No, she's not bad, but it's just like the way that they made the character. Like the character has so much, like she's stronger and she's a lot more like
capable,
strong-willed, but like but this character is just not. She's so flat. Yeah. She's like easily scared. Yeah. When Bolton, she would get scared, but she was also
she's tough.
A badass.
She's
in a
tough.
lot of ways.
No,
she's tough. She would like smack Yusuke.
Yeah, she was smacking Yusuke. She literally fended off herself from a bunch of like Makai insect infected humans. Like she was literally had a bat.
Yeah, and saved Keiko. Helped save Keiko. She was like
hitting
stuff.
them. She was not a lightweight. Like it's like she wasn't as strong as like the main characters. But like, she could hold her own pretty well. Her and Keiko like devised plans together to like help fend off the Makai insect infected humans and things like that. And so like, she's way stronger like in the anime, and I don't know why. And
and she would like help Yusuke more. Oh yeah. She was like around Yusuke more often and help him more. Yeah. She was a part of the battles in some cases.
She was there, but like in this version, she's just kind of like she's there for exposition and to tell Yusuke about assignments and talk to Koenma. Pretty much, that's all she's.
That's it, and it's She plays the role of all of Koenma's minions instead, which kind of like is a disservice to her because she was such a good character.
Yes, I know. She's one of my favorite characters. She's so much more than that. So it's unfortunate. Mm-hmm. It's unfortunate. I guess they didn't really understand her character well, but okay. Then let's move on to Koenma. So he was quite a change. I think.
A big change.
Like
I get how it would be hard to like cast a baby.
Like I it's like I find this really funny because actually I have a friend who also has like a drama podcast, and she watched the show because she really liked the actor, because she had also watched the Cherry Magic BL drama. Yeah. And so she was watching it pretty much for him because she really liked this actor. But she was like, oh my God. But, like she watched like the first 2 episodes and she was like, oh yeah, it's really good. But like, I don't like that he has that pacifier in his mouth. And I'm like, well, that's kind of like the only thing that they left of this character in there.
They took everything else away.
You're lucky you got the hot version first, because like in the original.
The original, he doesn't get hot for a while.
He's hot for quite a while. Yeah, he's literally a baby. Yeah. So you got lucky.
But I was a little disappointed because like I wanted to see the baby Koenma because it's like funny. It's part of the funny part of it, and like
they took away the comedic personality of Koenma, which is like I was rewatching the episodes for the past like week or so. I've been rewatching the anime episodes of the anime because watching this live action made me want to go back to the anime because I was like, oh, remember when it was good? So I went back to watch the anime, and Koenma's hilarious. Okay, he is so funny. Like every scene he's
so funny. He is like, so and how funny. He like introduces like Yukina and stuff. Yeah, it was so funny.
Like everything he does is
all the time. And
oh my God, he made that video, and then he had the little. He had the little. Was it demon? Like do the roar,
like a character. Like doing the lion roar. Like that was so funny.
The MGM,
like the entire like thing was really funny, and it was just like, why didn't?
It was hilarious.
Yeah,
it was.
And he like turns around, and then it's just like, hello. Yeah. Like it was.
I mean, like good, I get it. They didn't have. They obviously.
And
yeah,
they
it's like
didn't,
obvious,
the
like
pacifier
they
doesn't make
didn't
sense
have
now
enough
in
time,
the live
obviously,
action.
but
Yeah, of course not. They didn't, yeah. There wasn't enough time for sure. But like, I feel like they could have still added the comedic elements. And like, especially like the
they
whole, like,
could've-
it's like a business. It's like a business office. And that was really funny. And they should have kept that. The world, though, is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like spiritual. But like, they could have had the world in the background and still have it funny. And like, he's like sitting at a desk and
where's
stuff.
George?
Like,
Where's George the ogre?
George.
Like the Oni. Come on,
George was so fun. They were able to do the CGI for that one demon that had the spirit orb or whatever. Why couldn't
exactly
they
Goki?
also have it for
exactly. They
for
could have
Koenma?
George. I mean, I get it. It's like they didn't have time, but it's like Koenma's just so stiff in this version. He's so serious. Like he takes everything so serious.
Yeah.
And like it's just his personality is like literally I feel like complete opposite of like what Koenma is supposed to be. Like he's supposed to be kind of
he's
silly.
not
Like
really
a bit
Koenma.
selfish, you know, like a child, but like, you know, hundreds of years old.
And that's
right?
like Yusuke too.
Yeah.
They made Yusuke really flat too in a lot of ways instead of the childish and funny things about him because he's a teenager. He should be that way.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be like gritty like an old man.
Exactly. Like it's so gritty. They've made everyone so gritty. I'm like, Koenma's way too serious.
And Keiko is fine.
And I remember there was one scene where I think Yusuke was fighting. I don't know who was fighting, but like Botan was like, oh no, can he win? And then Koenma's like, we'll just have to have faith that he will, or something like that. And I'm like, what? That's not Koenma. Like that's the opposite. Usually Koenma.
Koenma would have been just like, Yusuke.
He's like, Yusuke. Oh no, is he gonna lose? Like literally, like Koenma's always the first one to think Yusuke's gonna lose. Where Botan's like, Koenma, like that's usually
he can do it. Yeah,
exactly.
Like, that wouldn't have added time to anything.
No.
They could have done it.
They could have done it. It's so easy, but they didn't. They didn't do it because they had to be cool.
And it would have made the characters more likable.
They had the cool Koenma, but he's boring. He's boring as a character.
He is.
Like,
he's
especially
quite boring.
If you know the original. It's so boring. Like it's like, oh my god.
It is.
Okay, so we mentioned this a little bit, but there's the funeral scene where we have Yusuke is dead and he goes to see his own funeral to see people's reactions, and he's surprised to see that some people actually miss him. So I think in this funeral scene, I think Keiko and the person who plays the mom, Atsuko, do amazing jobs. Like they are top notch, really delivering. I really felt it. Kuwabara, he has a similar, see, this is the thing, like it's like they go through the scenes in the show, like they'll put the scene of like Kuwabara going to the funeral and being really upset that Yusuke is dead, but like the way it's played is very different. Like I feel like in the anime, yes, in a way it's a little comedic because it's like, oh, look at Kuwabara making a scene, but he like literally goes all the way into where Yusuke's body is and literally is like crying while he's like yelling at him to come back and fight him, come back and fight me, right? And so it's kind of really emotional, even though it's like a little silly. It's also like, wow, he really cared about Yusuke. But I feel like in this version it's really just funny, kind of, or it's just played off as funny. It's not really given the emotional weight that it has in the original like anime, right?
And I know there wasn't enough time to add the teacher aspect, but like that, like that also added to the emotional weight of it. It wasn't like as emotional as I was expecting it to be. Like it's like, oh, he's dead. Oh no. It's like
the
Keiko and Atsuko. That was good. But
Keiko and Atsuko brought it. They brought it. They brought it. They should get.
They were the characters that brought it.
For their, like, acting and their like the. And to be honest, actually, most people that I heard. Like most people I heard reviews of didn't even really talk about. I mean, they mentioned Keiko was okay, but they didn't really mention how good she was. Where like they mentioned most of the men, but they didn't mention how good most of the women were. Especially like Keiko, she really like the person who played Keiko. She really brought it.
Yeah,
she brought it.
Yeah, she definitely brought it. Yeah, and they should have had the Kuwabara scene because I feel like it would have rounded out like them having that kind of friendship, rivalry friendship kind of thing,
and like how he viewed it, right?
It would have made it better.
I think
like him being there too, maybe with Atsuko and stuff, and then being pulled out, like that would have made it a lot better.
Oh, I totally agree. I think it was rushed a little bit too much, and also like they had this bully kid, which they added in here because this was not in the original. Like in the original, it was like the people who he saw like who got the wallet, they pretended that they were related to Yusuke to get it, actually. They said, I said I was like Urabeshi's cousin and they gave me the wallet or whatever. And they're just like joking about that. And then Yusuke like, confronts them about it because he's like, use my name for this or whatever. And then the teacher comes and like assumes Yusuke is stealing the money from them. Like that's how it happened in the original version. Yeah. In this version, these people are actually stealing a wallet, like stealing money from the person. So we get to see the person that actually had the wallet stolen from. But it's like we see that they're just bullying this kid all the time, though. And Yusuke is actually like coming to save him, right? Like he's actually like being the hero and like, trying to give him his money back, which I also think is, I don't know, it's kind of interesting. I wonder if the original Yusuke would have done that at that time. I don't know, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know if he was
I don't know if he would have been that
selfless.
Good. Yeah, that's selfless at that point.
Yeah.
Like I think obviously if, they were doing something too much, maybe he would have stepped in, I guess. But like, I feel like if they were just stealing his money, I don't know if he would have stepped in at that point. I think he just was kind of like, whatever, at that.
Yeah. I do think though that it was like a good, like a creative way to show like of him always being unfairly disciplined.
That's true.
Like I think that's what that helped a bit. But like it just kind of, it felt like it's just kind of there, but like it wasn't like the reason why he was like in the anime, right? Like he like that plays a big role in why he's a delinquent, right? Exactly. That the teacher is just so unfair to him.
Exactly. And we only get to see that teacher like a little bit. Like it's literally just one
just like
second.
Once.
And then we never see him again. And it's like, no, he should be also at the funeral. We should also see the other teacher that actually like cares for Yusuke and respects him and like, wants him to do well. Like that's a really big part of like what, helps.
Like they could have just shown up at the funeral scene and it would have been enough.
It would have been, they literally had like what maybe 30 seconds of lines or something. Like they literally could have just put them in there. And I think honestly they should have, because this really bothers me. I really wish they would have taken away from the bully kid being infected and added to the funeral scenes. I wish that could have been cut out more.
Me too.
I really
the blitz that went on for so
it went on exactly.
Long.
That's how I felt. It was too long. It was too long on this.
It was way too long.
I think they just really got like they were really into the like special effects and like fighting choreography they did, which was nice. It looked good. Like I'm not saying it didn't look good, but it's like they spent way too much time on this kid for how short the series was, right? For like how many other characters more important. And this kid, we never see him again after this. We never see him again. He never shows up again. We spent so much time. We spent it literally like what? 20 minutes almost with just this kid being infected and like fighting and
it just did not
turning into a demon. Like
need to last that long.
It took way too much time. Out of a 55-minute show, that is too long.
I was getting bored.
No, me too. I was like, oh my god, please, can someone please just kill him now? Like, I don't know, or just I don't care anymore at this point. Like, I was just so done. I was like, it just really bothered me because it's like especially when you think of how short the show is. And how much they've cut from other things. For an initial fight, I thought it was unnecessary. Yeah, it was way too long.
It didn't need to last that long.
It should have been really quick.
For an introductory
fight. It should have been like 5 minutes tops. Like this should not have been as long as it was. Like it was way too long.
Yeah, it like all of that time could have been used for more character
development for the other characters.
As you said, the funeral scene.
Exactly. Yeah. I would have preferred them to spend more time on the funeral scene, really fleshing out the characters. Because the thing, okay, I'm gonna have to get into this later because it's in my nitpick. But like there's also a thing with the bullies that come there too. Like it's just, I don't know. I just felt like they could have saved that. It was too long. It was too long.
No, same. Yeah, same.
All right. Okay, then moving on to the Artifacts of Darkness, which we don't get that much time with as well, obviously, because only 5 episodes and the whole thing. So first we have 3 characters who steal these Artifacts of Darkness. Goki is one of the characters. He's a demon who steals this orb that can like collect souls, human souls. And then Kurama steals this mirror that can grant a person any wish they want for a price. And Hiei steals a sword of darkness, which in the original version, it was something that could turn humans into demons, into lesser demons, like really low class demons. But in this version, I guess it can create a Jagan eye, which is interesting. Okay, so starting with Goki, changes.
Yeah, Goki. Actually, I thought like they did Goki pretty good.
Yeah, I think overall.
Yeah, well, he wasn't even there that long anyway in the anime.
No,
so
even the anime wasn't.
Go on.
Yeah, he was kind of like the first kind of, well, not the first thing that Yusuke fights, but like he was one of the kind of the more first kind of stronger villains that he had fought, and I think it was a good amount in the show.
Yeah, and him like in the orb too. I actually thought it was pretty well done, and the kids coming back and everything. Like I actually thought that was done.
Yeah, no, I think that was done quite well. Yeah.
Yeah, but then Kurama shows up.
Yeah.
He shows up in it, and like you're immediately disappointed.
Yeah, it's so sad. It's like you should be like, yay, Kurama, but then you're like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. I saw him and I was just like, what is that?
What's happening? Yeah. It's kind
and then
of
the
weird.
mirror.
Yeah, the mirror. Oh my god.
The mirror is just like an iPad tablet. Why did they get so lazy suddenly with the mirror?
I know, it's
strange.
so weird. It's like they did all these special
they
effects.
could have gotten like a fancy mirror
Exactly.
and just put CGI on it.
I guess they were
I don't understand why
it's-
they got so
But
lazy.
we're in the future, so we can have everything look like technology. So instead of a mirror, let's make it look like an iPad. Like, let's make it look
but
like
it's
some
supposed to be like fantastic. It's fantasy.
It's supposed to be
not
old,
to look like an
too.
iPad.
It's supposed to be super old.
Yeah, it's supposed to be really old. Yeah.
It's an artifact. It's supposed to be old. Like, it shouldn't look like an iPad.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I mean, at least it doesn't show up for too long.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
when it shows up, you're kind of like, it just
Okay.
doesn't look as spectacular as it's supposed to be.
Also, I'm sorry, can we go back, sorry, for a second, and can we just talk about
No,
how
no.
they even steal these things? Because I was so confused at what was going on.
It was confusing.
It was so confusing
Yeah,
because first of all, it seems like some
Koenma's
other...
suddenly like, they have them.
There were some other monsters that were already trying to steal it, apparently, because before the scene even comes up, you see Koenma being like, oh, Yusuke's gonna have to fight these things, and you see these weird, like, I don't know, like weird ghoul-looking things that, like, I've never seen before. I have no idea what they are, and they never come up again, so I don't actually know if they were significant anyway. But, like, apparently they were like, oh no, Yusuke's gonna fight them, and then we see actually Kurama and Goki and Hiei stealing these things from them. So it's got stolen twice. Like these things were stolen 2 times. So weird. That was so weird. I don't know why that was put in there. I really have no idea why.
I don't understand either.
What were they there
didn't
for?
Make a lot of sense.
Like
I didn't even recall that until you brought it up again.
No,
because,
I forgot about it, but then I remembered again and I rewatched it like literally last night, and I was like, wait a minute, hold on, what are these? Because first I thought they were like, supposed to be the ogre, like, they were supposed to be a stand-in for like the ogres who run Spirit World, that's what I thought at first. But then I look at it, it's like, no, they're like defeating other people who look kind of human, actually. And they have like guns and stuff like that, and I'm like, what what's going on? So I think they're supposed to be like the Spirit World like security or whatever, and they're defeating them, and then we see Hiei, Kurama, and Goki come and defeat them like the ghoul looking things. So it's like they were already demons trying to steal these things, and they were stealing them, and then Kurama, Hiei, and Goki come and like steal it from them. Like it's really weird.
It was kind of an unnecessary scene.
Yeah,
like
it
I know the
felt so
three
weird.
of them team up, and then Goki, Kurama, and Hiei just team up and like steal it, and that's it.
No, in the anime it's literally like a second or something. It's like okay, maybe 10 seconds. It's like 10 seconds. Oh, they stole it. Okay, you see their shadows and then they're gone. But in this one they were like, okay, we have to have a whole
the same thing.
and like we gotta show them coming up, and it's like I literally don't understand why it was done.
For all
like
the stuff they cut out. For all the stuff they cut out, and then they added random things.
Yeah,
in like that,
it was like, why add this? This is the one thing you didn't have to add. This is the one thing you could have like glossed over and it would have been fine. But I think they wanted to show like their, I guess, abilities or whatever. And it's like, well, it's not like you guys stay consistent on those anyway. So who cares? Like, like why did we need to like see them like fight random ghouls that we don't know and we'll never see again? Right? It was so strange.
It was completely unnecessary.
I think I feel like, okay, because I mean, I'm gonna go into this a little more when it gets to the nitpicks, but I feel like they kind of did it to like absolve them of actual crime. Like I don't know what it is, but I feel like this version is really trying to make sure all the main characters are just as good as possible. Like they don't want them to be even sort of bad. Like there's like okay, they stole. Like they stole from other bad guys, so it's okay. I don't know why else they would do it. Like I don't know any other reason, because they've also made, like we said before, they made Yusuke way more squeaky clean and good than he would have been, than he was originally in the original show, right? And there's just other characters that I feel like, and even Hiei, we'll get into it later, like really soon, but like they've made him like almost like completely, I don't know, like just have no crimes at all. Actually, he's done nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Like actually,
yeah,
like in this
right,
version, he's done nothing bad. So like, it's like, was there anything else you wanted to say about the Kurama one? About Kurama?
Oh, Kurama? Yeah. Kurama actually, like, the like the little arc with his mom wasn't too bad, actually.
Yeah,
like the mirror was just like, what, why? But that section I felt like was at least mostly true to like the anime.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think the only difference is
the wings,
I think the only difference is that like instead of Kurama coming straight to Yusuke and being like, hey, give me some time to wait on this or whatever, like until I can use this, because they don't have time. It's just like Yusuke ends up just trailing him and like following him to the hospital. Of course, Kurama knows, but like it's not like he like talks to him and confronts him about anything, which I understand why they didn't put it in, because like I said, it would take up more time. They didn't have time, but I kind of feel like it is a little bit of a disservice to their characters, because in that version, Yusuke, Kurama comes to Yusuke and says, please give me some time to wait until pretty much he can use the mirror, right? Because it's only like on a full moon or something. And he can only use it on a full moon. And so he asks Yusuke to trust him and like let him wait for that time. And Yusuke takes his word for it and trusts him and waits. And because he believes he's a good person, even though just met him and, he's a demon and he's stolen something, he believes he's a good person. And so because of that, like he ends up helping him out.
They build also their friendship.
Yeah, it helps with their friendship, which in this version too, he does like trust him. There's a conversation he has with Keiko where it's like, do you think someone who's bad could also be a good person? Someone who's seen as bad could also be a good person and stuff like that. And Keiko's like, look at you, people think you're bad, but I know you're not like a bad person or whatever. So there is a little bit of that moment there, but yeah, I feel like in the original version though, it was a little more fleshed out though, I feel like.
It was, yeah, I agree.
All right, then Hiei. Oh God, I mean, I have things to say, but do you have anything read?
The sword and stuff, the sword looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks
but
cool.
It was like a tiny little thing. It wasn't like a sword anymore.
Yeah. It's more like the dagger of darkness, I think.
Yeah,
in this version.
The dagger of darkness instead of the sword. But it was it looked pretty cool at least. It was a lot better than the mirror.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's true.
So at least looked pretty cool. I liked that, the CG effects of it. And then Hiei wasn't that bad.
No.
Like he actually like was, I think, a little bit closer to the original character. But you're a lot more of a Hiei fan than I am.
Yeah. Oh, I got things to say. I've got things to say. Don't worry. I want you to get what you wanted to say out first, and then I will come with my notes. Okay.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so the thing
I already talked a lot about Kurama.
Okay, yeah, no, it's fine. Like, so the thing is, I think for the most part, the actor plays Hiei as like the kind of stereotype that we know of Hiei to be. Is very quiet, doesn't like to cooperate with other people, doesn't like to be told what to do. Is kind of distant. I think, that is the character, and that is a big part of the character. But like we said before, I think a lot has been taken away from his character just because they just don't have time, right? They just don't have time to really build on his character. And we don't get that like extra layer of depth to him that we do get in the anime, because it's just, they don't have time, right? And so he's kind of more one-dimensional.
Yeah.
He's kind of the one-dimensional loner, like, I don't need help and I don't need people. And I'm not saying he's not like that, because he is like that. He does have that personality, but there's more to it in the anime, right? Whereas in this version, you just don't have time to give any more than
like
that.
Really
and so
character development.
And so because there's a lot of like loneliness and like fear of rejection. But I'm really getting deep into this now, but like there's a lot that like comes with Hiei, and especially with this relationship with his sister. But like, with this whole Dragon Eye, like I literally like looked up stuff about the Dragon Eye like last night, because I was like trying to refresh, like, okay, what kind of powers does it have and things like that. So the thing is, with this sword, instead of being a sword where he actually like turns humans into demons, it's a sword that can give him a Dragon Eye, which really takes away a lot of his background and like his backstory. That you can just
takes away a lot of his character development.
A lot of his character development is taken away from that. Like literally, I don't know what they're gonna do if they do actually get a second season and a third season. I don't know what they're gonna do when it gets to the Three Kings arc, because that's literally like half of his like story in there. So I don't know what they're gonna do with that. But anyway, so he literally gives himself a Jagan eye, which in the original version is not possible.
Yeah.
Like it's like literally a procedure, like it's like a surgical procedure that's really painful, not just a little it's like, no, you like, he literally was out for like, I don't know, days, maybe months, I don't know, like he was out for a really long time after he got that surgery, and it literally reduced his like demon level down like 2 ranks or something. Like he literally, that's how painful and how much energy it takes from the user, like whoever has it. And so for him to just like kind of prick himself with the little dagger and like all of a sudden he got a Jagan eye, it's like it felt
but they could have, like, with the way that they like had Hiei just like waiting while he like Yusuke is going like to train with Genkai, like they could have added that in.
Yeah,
right?
he could have been
like,
suffering,
him just getting so pain. Yeah, so that he's not just like chilling.
Exactly. He's literally just chilling. He's literally just chilling for a month. Because, like, the thing is, like, the Jagan gives you, like, really, like, a lot of special powers. So I was just looking at the Yu Yu Hakusho wiki, last night. And, like, some of the powers you get is, like, telepathy, which he does use in the anime, and telekinesis. He also gets mind control, mind resistant, remote viewing, and this is what allows him to be able to like find other people. So this is what made him be able to track down Yukina, because like he can look at like an object, it says the size of a marble, from like miles away, regardless of the location, pretty much. So he can see into houses, he can see into forests, he can see into caves, so he can pretty much see into anything. And so in the anime it made sense, like, because they had these special like talisman or something that was like blocking his Jagan from like finding Yukina. But in this version there is nothing. Like they literally just have like a random like cloth over her, and that's it. So
and
like,
he just gets the eye, and that's it. There's nothing to the eye,
and
it's
like,
just there.
And so like he could literally find her. There's no reason why he couldn't find her. It's like, okay, yeah, he tried with the like with one, he had the stone, god, I can't remember the name now, but like the tears, you know, like that Yukina cries, like, and he also has one because he is related to her, like it's his sister, and so he can use that to like track like her stones down, and he tracks down one and like ends up like getting it and like finding the guy who's like carrying it. But then he doesn't try again after that. Like I'm sure he could have found
that's it.
like the place, right? Like he could have found it like in this like month that like Yusuke was taking to train. He could have found her. The fact that he could not find her at all like doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. It does not. Like, they could have even just waited to do that scene until after the Genkai thing.
Yes,
like,
they should have, but because they didn't.
Suffering to find her, and
because they didn't, it made no sense.
It didn't make sense then. Yeah, they could have easily just moved that one scene, just like plopped it right after the training, and then it would have made more sense. Like,
it was
even
so
if
weird.
it was just that, even though that wasn't the best. Like,
it just made it weird that he was sitting there for literally a month and he didn't find his sister.
Like, when's Yusuke gonna come back?
Like, when's Yusuke gonna come? And also, okay, all right, yeah, we're gonna get to that. Well, actually, no. You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Oh, no. I'll wait. It's in my nitpicks, so I'll get it later. Okay. All right. Then, speaking of the training with Genkai,
that was,
what was different there?
They took away so much.
Yeah, there was
so much away. They took away from Genkai, too. So much away. Like, Genkai's not, like, in the live action, right? Like, Genkai is suddenly this, like, motherly type grandma, right?
Yeah.
But she wasn't that at all.
No. She was
brutal.
She was brutal. She was like, she was brutal. She was just as tough as, like, even tougher than Yusuke, right? She was like bad mouthing.
She was so tough.
She had a dirty mouth. She had she was just like, just as like.
She didn't care if Yusuke got her superpowers or if like who was the demon?
Rando.
There was a demon.
I think Rando.
Rando,
yeah. She didn't even care if a demon got her power. She didn't care. She did not give a fuck.
Yeah, she didn't care. She was like, I just care if you're strong.
Yeah.
Like there could have been a scene like take out some of the stupid scenes with like fighting with the bullied kid, and then just add in like
and the weird
something
ghoul
to have
things that did not need to be in there.
And just add like a little scene where Yusuke at least proves himself. I understand like the entire like thing of like the matches, especially up to Rando, maybe couldn't have been done.
That's too long. It's way long.
But
even
like,
the anime was kind of long.
Even in the anime it was long. It was a little too long. But like they could have added something to have him prove himself.
Because she's just
like Genkai is not. Genkai doesn't even care about Koenma.
Exactly.
Exactly.
In the original version, she's like, whatever. Like literally, she's just like, whoever's the strongest will get my powers. That's it. She does not care. Like she does not care if a demon
or like,
gets it.
Could Could have even have her like snub Quenma and then be like, screw you, like I'm not gonna take your like just anything to like add her character in.
Yeah, they totally did her character disservice. Yeah, they did her. She was way too accepting, way too nice, way too friendly. I mean, don't get me wrong, she's a good person, and she does eventually treat Yusuke as like her own son in a way. Like she does kind of like come to love him in that way. But she's it's a lot of tough love, and like they give a little bit of it in here, but she's way too, I would say, motherly or grandmotherly in this version than the actual Genkai. Like the actual Genkai is like whatever, fuck off, like like I don't care, like
she's just not Genkai. The actress is good, but not Genkai. She's just not.
But just the way it was set up, it just she didn't have the time, and also like the whole fact that she like literally gave her life, like her strongest ability and all of her like spirit energy to Yusuke after only training with him for a month. That was just the biggest disservice to her character I've ever seen.
It was,
like, I think
she didn't
any adaptation ever. Like it was just wow. Like when you think of all the emotion that went into that, like in the actual anime, and like how much time it built, like he had trained with her at least twice already and been through a whole dark tournament with her.
Before and then she finally trusted
and then she finally was like,
power.
Okay, I gotta give it to you. In this version, it's like, oh no, Toguro saw that you have a big spirit energy, and now he's gonna come here to get you. All right, hey, you gonna promise not to use this for bad?
Like
I don't know. I don't even know.
How did the girl even know? Like he has no indication.
But she just assumes, she's just like, he's coming, and like and then she's like, oh great, okay.
Yeah, and then it doesn't make any sense. So it doesn't make any sense at all.
Here you go. Wait, well she's like, oh no, first, are you gonna use this energy for bad? No, okay, here you go.
I honestly laughed when Toguro like just saw like the spirit like gun thing, and then he just like smiles and laughs, and then younger Toguro is just like, I never see him do that. And I was
the
just
older
like,
Toguro, the older Toguro,
dude,
like,
for what? Like, for what? He doesn't even know. He doesn't even know if it's coming for him.
Exactly. It's so weird. Like, it was so weird. It was like, I know they had to streamline it, but god damn, it was just so bad. It was so badly done.
Yeah, like Toguro isn't psychic.
No, I know. Like in the original, we didn't even know, like, at first that he had anything to do with the Genkai until the tournament, right? And like, then he sees him actually fight a bunch of different demons that they put out there, and sees how easily he's able to take them down. And then actually when they have a fake fight actually in the original, which they kind of tease in this version, but they don't actually obviously don't follow through. And so like he sees how strong Yusuke is, and he's like, oh, he can get stronger, and so like he forces him to go to the dark tournament and like build up his strength, which he does build up, right? Through fighting all these different like enemies and defeating them and things like that. And so it makes more sense in that
there's
version.
like a progression.
There's a progression. Whereas in this version, it's just like kind of like he shot his spirit gun and it was really, really big. Okay, let's fight.
He's strong.
He's strong.
Spirit
Let's
gun,
go.
cool.
And now I'm gonna go kill Genkai off screen. And
that came from the general direction of Genkai. Time to go.
Yes. I know it's Genkai. I know it's
and for some reason the world is so small that he can like know exactly where Genkai is no matter where he is.
But it's kind of weird that he knew it was Genkai, because I don't think the spirit gun is Genkai's move at all. So like I don't know why he knew it. Like the spirit wave, maybe. Like the spirit wave is a move that she taught Yusuke specifically, but the spirit gun, like he learned that from Koenma. So like there's no way Toguro should have known it was from her necessarily, right? A lot of energy, which maybe was similar to hers, but it wouldn't have been hers. So I don't know why he would have thought, okay, must go to Genkai's place and now must kill her because she's old, even though it's like, well, of course. Like, it's been 50 years, guys.
Makes no sense at all,
it was really weird. Okay, well, we'll come back to the Toguro brothers more depth soon, but before that, I want to talk about Yukina. So I like Yukina's character in this movie. Sorry, God, I call it a movie because it feels like a movie, but this TV series. I think overall she was good, but I do think in some ways her character was also a bit weaker than she was in the anime, just a little bit. I mean, she wasn't. She wasn't super strong in the anime either. But like in the anime, I remember
she at least put up a fight.
She put up more of a fight, because I remember the anime, because I rewatched literally the whole series like this past week, and she literally had gotten to the point that she was so just cold. Like she had gotten to the point where she was like resistant to any physical pain. And so like she literally, because she's an ice demon, right? And so she would literally freeze the
and she
room.
even uses her powers.
Yeah, she would use her
which
powers.
she doesn't use at all in the
She
live
doesn't
action.
use, except for her healing power, she uses like no powers in this version, except for healing and crying and like, you know, the stones come out or whatever. And she literally was freezing the room, making it cold and uncomfortable for anyone who would come in. And then also, like, when they would try to, like, attack her or, like, hit her physically, she wouldn't budge. Like, she had, like, sealed off all her emotions, like, for, like, pain. Like, right? Because they had done so much to her already. She had gotten used to it.
So she wouldn't, like, cry.
Yeah, and so she wouldn't cry. But then when she saw someone else getting, you know, well, not someone else, but she saw birds, like literal birds came, and they were her only friends,
her little friends.
And when they came back, and like, you know, because she told them to go away when she knew the people were coming, and she said, don't leave, and but they came back, and that's when the elder Dekoro like killed them, and that made her cry because those were like her only friends, you know. So it was more of an emotional thing. The physical stuff didn't hurt her, but in this version, literally Tarukane just like puts his like what, cigarette butt or like his cigar butt on her, and she just cries, and that's it. And it's like, you know,
and that was it. That was enough,
like,
I guess.
That would not have worked on anime Yukina at this point. Like,
No, and they could have had it like something else, like she wasn't in a place to get birds in the live action, but it could have been something like rats, you know, like Cinderella like rats. Why can't Yukina also like rats?
Exactly. It could have been anything. It could have been literally anything, you know. To
like give her more character and make her less flat. Like she just like her character too. I feel like a lot of the female characters, aside from like Keiko, got like really just like completely
downgraded,
made flat.
Definitely. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's how I feel as well. And I know they did add in the scene, which was a flashback in the anime where like one of the people working under Tarukane actually tries to like help her escape, and then he gets killed, and then she cries about that. And I know that happened earlier in the anime version. But the thing is, they have all the other stuff still happen as though it was the same timeline as the anime. So like, it doesn't really matter. They could have still made it where she was a bit tougher, and she actually used her ice powers. You know, maybe.
Yeah, because she's an ice demon.
Like give her some powers, give her something to do. Like, it's like, yeah. You know, I think the actress was fine, character. But yeah, I think the character was done a little bit of a disservice. Also, I think it's weird with her and Hiei, like at the end, because the thing is, in this version, because he doesn't give himself the eye until later, it's kind of weird that, like, I don't know, did he get the artifact because he knew that would give him an eye to be able to find Yukina? Because like in the original version, he already had been trying to do that, right? And he knew she went to the human world. And so it's kind of weird that he's just like randomly now like, okay, I need this thing and I'm going to make this eye. Now I'm going to look for my sister. And then he like has her stone, right? Or has the same kind of stone that she has, right? And she's literally like, oh, I'm looking for a brother that, you know, I have or something like that. And it's like, she knows she has a brother and she like is looking, which, you know, also in the anime, she also knows like she has a brother as well. And so she asks him like, oh, and he literally gives her his stone, that like the stone he has on the necklace, like he has it on some kind of necklace. And she's like, oh, are you? And he's like, no, it's not me. And it's like, but the thing is, it makes no sense for him to have it then, right?
It doesn't make any sense.
It's weird because like in the anime, it's different.
That didn't make any sense either.
It made no freaking sense because it was like, oh, here's a stone that only people like you can produce. I have it, but I'm not your brother. And it's like, well, then where'd you get it from, sir? Like, you know, it's like, it's kind of weird.
Did you like buy it? Like,
did you steal it? Like, what did you guys? Exactly? Like, how did you get it? Right?
Why did you come to save me then, sir?
Whereas in the original version, it's the exact opposite because he does have one originally because they both got it. Their stones, like the ones they wear as necklaces, they got them from their parent, like their mother, who, you know, ended up committing suicide because like there's a whole backstory with Hiei and like, you know, how he was abandoned because like he was born into a village where it's all women. They're all just like ice demonists and like they only have girls. Like that's it. They don't have any boys. And so he was the only boy and so he was outcasted and things like that. And so, but they made sure to put the little necklace with the stone on it like into his little baby. I don't know what you call it, but like whatever he was wrapped in. So I don't know, whatever. Yeah. So he had that. So he's had that all his life, pretty much. And she also has the same one, like, you know, from her mother. And so the only way he could have gotten it otherwise is that if he stole it or bought it or something like that, right? And so she doesn't question that at all. She's just like, oh, okay, I guess you're not him, you know. But in the anime, it's different though because so the thing is, he actually ends up losing his necklace because he ends up like, you know, showing it off because he knows that people really want it because it's really valuable, and he uses it to like fight people and kill them because like that's what he did for fun, you know. That was a little Hiei, like he just wanted to like, and then doing that one day he accidentally ends up losing it, right? He ends up losing it because he's like, someone cuts it off his neck and then it just falls somewhere and he can't find it anymore. So he actually doesn't have that stone to use in the anime at first, and he actually receives, and like towards the end he receives the necklace. That necklace, Yukina gives it to him because like she feels like, oh, you're like, so he never admits that he is her brother, but like she feels like, oh, you remind me of my brother, or like you're like a brother to me or something like that, and she gives him the stone herself. So he receives a stone from her, which is complete opposite of what happens in the show. And it makes a lot more sense because, you know,
it makes more sense. Yeah. In this part, it just like, it was kind of strange.
Yeah,
like,
it was kind of weird. It gave me more questions than anything else. I was like, wait, what? So why would she just believe this and not like question it anyway? Like, it's weird. Okay, so you gave her your stone.
Yeah.
Why would you even give it to her though? Like, it just it made sense. Anyway.
It's strange, yeah. Like, it could have been, like, her, like, starting to question it, and that would have made more sense.
Yeah,
like,
but they didn't really show that. But they didn't really show that. So it was kind of weird. Yeah, I don't know. All right, then, let's see. The Toguro brothers. So, yeah, there were a few changes. But, well, besides their whole, like, characters just being rushed through, and the backstory also being rushed in, like... Oh my God.
Yeah, it was very, but they weren't too bad, actually.
They weren't too bad.
No. Yeah, they looked really close to the originals.
Yes, they did.
Like they matched them pretty well. Yeah. Especially younger Toguro.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just embodied the character.
Oh,
really
yeah,
well.
no, he really embodied the character. He did a really amazing job. Really good job. Kudos to him.
Yeah. Older Toguro is not too hard to embody because he doesn't talk at all.
Yeah, he doesn't talk that much. Yeah, the only thing, and this is not, like, anything to like the actors or anything, because both of them did a phenomenal job in their characters. They did exactly what their characters should have been like. They were exactly like that. But it's just with the elder Toguro, sometimes like because of the CG, because they had to make him look smaller with the CG, right? Because I'm sure he's not as tiny as the actual elder Toguro was. So like it looked kind of weird. It looked a little like uncanny valley sometimes, especially when he was on.
It did. That's true. Yeah.
On younger Toguro's back, because it was like obviously he wasn't there, right? Like it just didn't.
Yeah.
It just didn't. It wasn't believable. Like, I was just like, oh, it's kind of weird. Like it looks a little off, right? But I get it.
I was able to forgive that, actually. Like, that part I could forgive a little bit.
Yeah, no.
More.
I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. It doesn't bother me too much because, like, you know, I get it. Like, it's hard. It's hard to do that. I can totally forgive it, but I'm just saying, I just noticed it. I'm just saying, like, it.
Just like they couldn't cast a baby.
No. No, they couldn't cast a baby. They couldn't cast a. Well, I don't know. I mean, honestly, could they not have cast a smaller person, though? I feel like they could have. I feel like. Maybe not a baby, but like they probably could have casted a smaller person.
They could have done like kid Koenma even.
That would have been interesting. Yeah, like have a little kid.
Worked better instead of like because a baby would be hard.
Yeah, baby's kind of impossible. Like a baby, unless it's CG. Unless it's CG. Like.
Yeah, unless it's CG or like a 3-year-old or a 4. I don't know, like how old they would have to be to like. No, be able to
it's hard.
Well,
it's hard with an actual baby. He's got to talk a lot, so no.
Yeah. So like a kid might have worked well.
Yeah.
Oh well. Yeah, the Toguro brothers. Yes.
Yeah.
So actually, I didn't mind them too much, and I also the older Toguro when he gets like really muscular. It looks. Oh,
you mean
weird,
the younger one?
Also...
Sorry, You mean the younger one? The younger one is the bigger one. The elder one is actually the smaller one.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Yeah. The younger one, the guy gets the big muscles. Yes. So the big muscly guy, when he gets like big and muscular, like actually it looked strange, but it also like looks pretty cool too at the same time. So I was able to forgive that a bit, even if it looked weird because like it's supposed to look weird. It's not it's not natural.
It is weird.
It did though. It didn't look like muscles though. It looked more like makeup in some ways.
Yeah, definitely.
It didn't look like skin or like body like in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
which
that's true.
That was the only like disappointment.
Yeah. I think overall they were fine. Like, I think just the whole story just messed it up because, like, in this version, it's just, everything's rushed so much that you, like, even though you see the backstory, and I do like how they juxtaposed it to, like, especially showing parts of his backstory when Yusuke was being beaten up by him and he was seeing Toguro trying to, like, harm his, like, friends and people he cared about, right? And seeing also Toguro back in the day having that demon, like, literally eat his students, right?
Yeah.
Like, in his dojo. And, like, like, I think that was I think that looked really good. That was really good visually.
That was nice. Good.
Like, the only problem is that we didn't have enough time to build up to the characters, so it just feels a little unearned. But yes, sure. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's true.
It looked nice. Yeah. It looked nice.
It did look nice. It looked nice.
Yeah, I think overall their characters were fine for the most part, besides that they were just done a disservice of being rushed.
Yeah. Aside from being rushed, they were good despite being rushed.
Yeah. I would say so.
It was nothing like Genkai where it was just disappointment.
Genkai is such a disservice. Such a disservice. Like, biggest disservice. Like, I hope the actress is doing well because, like, oh my god, like, yeah, they did that character.
She's probably
so
fine.
dirty.
She's really famous apparently.
Oh, okay, that's good. Because they did that character wrong. Okay. So just as like kind of a section of the Toguro brothers, I just want to talk kind of briefly about the Bui versus Hiei and the Karasu versus Kurama fights, because those were two of my favorite fights in the anime, but in this version, I have some thoughts.
Yeah, no, I have thoughts too. Like, I actually thought Bui versus Hiei was pretty cool. Like, it looked pretty cool at least.
Yeah.
I think a part of it was just that I forgot a lot of the original scenes, so I was able to, like, accept it more.
Oh, see, I remember I remember those. I've watched those so many times. I've watched them so many times because, we literally had the VHS.
Maybe you should talk
like the
more.
VHS.
I have a lot more to say about Karasu and Kurama.
Okay.
But maybe you should say more about Bui and Hiei.
Yeah, no, my dad literally, we, like, bought the VHSs of these, I think, these fights, so I've seen them so many times. Yeah, I've seen these scenes so many times, and also I have I had bought like a box set of like the Dark Tournament, so I had like these scenes on like repeat so many times. We watched these so many times, and so I know pretty much the ins and outs of these fights. Like, I've seen them many times. The thing is, I think overall, of course, the fight for choreography and like the visuals were really amazing. Like, they looked really good. It looked really cool. The Dragon of the Darkness Flame looked amazing. Like, did not feel unnatural in any way. It looked, because it is kind of supernatural, right? It is supernatural. So it's like, it was totally fine. So, it worked with the CG. Like, it was really totally cool. Fine. It looked great. But, it's just, like I said, it's like, it's not so much the scenes themselves. It looked cool, but like the thing is, it's like, as usual, it's like Yu Yu Hakusho is not just about like fight scenes, which the fight scenes are cool and like we like to see them, and I love to see them too. But the thing is, the reason why the fights are so good though is because they're usually earned, right? There's a build up to them. Yeah. And not saying that there was a build up necessarily with Bui and Hiei, because there wasn't really much like between them really at all. But like, we saw Hiei kind of like, he had a struggle during the Dark Tournament arc where he was trying to like gain more control over his Dragon of the Darkness Flame, right? Like, that was something that once it was gone, he couldn't control it. Like, he wasn't strong enough to like keep it intact, right? And so we see him.
There was none of this here.
There was none of that here. In this version, he just already knows how to do it, and it's fine, and he defeats Bui, and it's totally just over. Whereas like in the original version of the fight, actually Bui is strong enough to like reverse the dragon and have it come back at Hiei and consume him. Like, he literally turns it around and it literally eats Hiei, right? Like, it tries to like eat Hiei, but then Hiei ends up eating the dragon instead. Like he actually, because he had time to train to be able to like gain this power, right? We see that
he built
training.
This up.
We see his time. Wasn't just suddenly he can do this. He learned how to do it. Whereas in this version they don't do it, which I'm kind of glad they didn't, because I think if they would have done it, it would have just been even more of a disservice, because it's like, well, so he always had this ability then, like, it's just like, there's right? And so so actually Bui is much stronger than he is in this version, because like, he's able to turn it around, and we think, oh no, Hiei's gone, they literally are about to like count down and be like, okay, well, I guess Hiei's gone, but then he comes out, and then he just is so badass. And like, I just love like that scene so much, because Hiei comes back and he's literally just like kicking Bui's ass with no issue at all, and Bui is like terrified, and you have this little teeny man and this like really big guy who's just like terrified of this little teeny man, because he's just so powerful at this point. And it's just visually very interesting and funny, and but at the same time really satisfying, because like, he had a struggle to get there, right? And you see the struggle through many episodes, right? And so
It's like how like you can't like perfection doesn't like make you feel like good because like no one's perfect like in the world, right? Like you just feel strange about perfection. But if you see like that build up that like makes them human, right? It makes you connect more to the character, and that just wasn't there for PA, unfortunately.
Exactly. We just didn't have enough time with PA to see that, and so it's like he's just already completely badass. And no, he's badass from the beginning in the original too, but he's just so overpowered though, you know, in this version. It's like he literally has no, like, I mean, yes, of course when he goes against Toguro, he's weakened, but you know, you could also say he's weakened because he used the Dragon of the Darkness Flame too, right? Like if he hadn't have used it, maybe he would have been able to be, you know, be able to like take on even Toguro, maybe. Who knows? Like, you know, it's just like, it's like in this version, who knows? But it's like he's just already so overpowered, which I get, he was always powerful, but like it just, you see the progression in the original anime that you just don't get here. And I just feel like it's a big disservice to the fight, because it's like, I know they put it in because it's a really famous and it's a really popular fight from the Dark Tournament, is they put it in because of that. But like the reason why it's popular, the reason why people love it so much is like, yeah, it's cool, but also there's a build up to it, right? And there's none of that here.
There's a build up to make it like so satisfying.
Because of that, it's kind of, because even with Wee, there's a whole backstory of him. You even get his backstory in the, like, this episode, the anime episode of this, like the few episodes they have in the anime of this, has so much detail in it. Like it's like literally you get Wee and his backstory about how he had taken on Toguro and lost, and he just told him to kill him, but like Toguro's like, no, you can get stronger. And so that's why he's literally kind of in like servitude, like forced servitude to Toguro, where he has to fight in the tournament for him until he can get big, he can get strong enough to actually defeat him. And so that's literally what he's doing here. And so he, as soon as he gets defeated by Hiei, he's like, kill me. And like he is like, I don't take orders from anyone, especially people I beat or whatever, you know, there's a little line or whatever. And it's like this, like,
and here it's just like, just kill me, and this doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Sad.
Yeah, because it's just like it doesn't matter, because we don't get a backstory from him, where we see in the original, like he's been trying so hard to defeat Toguro, so he's been trying to get stronger so that he can finally defeat him and be free, right? And in this version, it's like just, oh well, okay, kill me, you know, the generic, just like, oh well, just kill me because you've defeated me. And it's like, oh, okay, nah, all right, you know, like it
didn't make sense. It was more just like, wow, you're dramatic.
It's just like, it doesn't hold the same
extra.
Exactly, it doesn't hold the same weight, right? And it just doesn't. And also it's like, it doesn't, like, I guess a little bit it shows Hiei's character a little bit, because I guess in this version, like, but the thing is, in this version though, he hasn't done anything that bad, because like in the original it was like, okay, he would have just killed people, right? But then he's grown by being with Yusuke and Kurama and Kuwabara, like being with his, you know, now friends, like people who he even won't admit it, he considers them friends. He's grown to like not try to just kill people. Just he's learned to respect people, like, and not just kill, like just only care about strength and like only care about, like, you know, how strong someone is. He's learned to like care about other things, and like, has learned to show mercy and things like that. And this kind of shows that growth of him over time, which you get. Whereas in this version, well, first of all, he's never done anything bad, so there is no growth really. Besides, the only thing you get is in the end, he is like, okay, well, I'm friends with them now, instead of when he was like, oh, we're not friends, I don't want to work with you guys. And so you get a little bit of that growth, but you don't get the full spectrum of growth, because he hasn't done anything bad really in this version besides steal from gremlins or something, like ghouls or whatever they are. Like, I don't know, like that's all he's done. He hasn't done anything bad, so it's like, it just kind of does a service to the character.
It is.
Okay, all right.
It really
so,
is,
all right, I've talked enough about, you know, Hiei and Bui. So you please talk about Karasu and Kurama versus Kurama.
Yeah, well, I have a lot of similar complaints, right? Karasu, like, I think they did him enough, like, well enough, like, in the live action, just because like he's just there, and like his fight scene is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very cool.
I was really upset with Kurama because like he suddenly becomes his like yokai form, and it doesn't have the same weight, right? Like there was so much weight, and like I remember being so like in awe of him when he like
me too.
His, like,
me too. That's why Yoko Kurama is my second
and
favorite
it was
character.
So amazing.
Actually, Yoko Kurama.
Yokai Kurama was so cool in the anime, and it was like that's like what really solidified my like of him as a character in the anime. But here it's just kind of like anticlimactic. Like he just like kind of shows up, and then like his part of the fight is like so short that like it doesn't have the same weight of like how strong he really is. Like it was just like really disappointing, in how like he like loses his strength like so suddenly. It just didn't make a lot of sense that he's supposed to be this all powerful character, and he's only powerful for like 30 seconds.
It's like
my time is up.
but what time though? What time? You didn't do anything. Like in the original, it makes sense because there's actually a reason why he was able to turn back, and there was a time limit. You know, it was set up in the world, right? But in this version, there's nothing. So you're like,
no, there's
why?
nothing. It makes no sense that he suddenly becomes it. Yeah, he just suddenly becomes the yokai, and then suddenly is not the yokai anymore.
And like, how does this work? I don't get it.
Awe.
It's like they turn it off. Okay, all right, and it's like
it was just like it didn't make you like really like the character as much as like you really should have.
No,
like,
he's an amazing character, and the thing is also he's supposed to be so different from Kurama. Like he is like ruthless, right? He doesn't care.
Yeah, he's
about,
supposed
like,
to be so ruthless.
People.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. But he just wasn't that.
And you just don't see that. And the thing is, it's built up in the anime too, because even Hiei, when they go to Mei's castle, which I understand why they took Mei's castle out, because it is really long and, you know, they didn't have a lot of time. I get it. But I feel like Mei's castle was a lot of
and the whole like
three
yokai thing too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like it's like there's a lot of character development that is taken out because of Mei's castle being taken out of the four main characters, because like there you get to really see them first. Like, this is the first time they work together. They kind of like, and it's in a situation where like, yes, it's life threatening, but like it's not so bad as Toguro. Like it's not up to that level, but it's like it's still, you know, quite bad, and they have to really get through it. And you see all of their strengths. You get to see all of their powers. You get to see them like interact with each other, and also that's when Hiei first starts to really like Yusuke and even Kuwabara a little bit. And I mean, not that much, but like, you know, a little bit. Like he starts to like come a bit softer, you know, through that experience.
Yeah, they start to like become friends. Yeah,
they start to kind of become friends. You know, as much as Hiei can be friends with someone, right? And
exactly.
There's this development that you get there, right? That you just don't really get here, right? Because they're not really interacting with each other at all. Like literally, Hiei runs off literally the second he gets there, and then they all go separate paths. And so they don't. There's a lot of banter and interactions that you get with them together in the Mei's castle art in the anime that you just don't get here. And so like it's just kind of like, why do you guys even care about each other? Like, Kurama, why are you even here? Like, you know, like, it's like, I don't understand. Like, for what, you know? Like, I guess to pay Yusuke back for the mirror thing, but like, it just, I don't know. It just feels so like unearned. And I remember in that arc in Mei's castle, Hiei literally tells Yusuke, because they don't know how powerful Kurama is, but like, he's literally like, do you know why I asked Kurama to be my partner? Because I didn't want to fight him myself. That's how badass he is, right? That's how ruthless and like how powerful he is, right? Hiei had said literally like, oh, the reason why I had Kurama be on my team when like they stole the artifacts is because I didn't want him to be against me. Like I didn't want him to be my enemy, pretty much. That's how badass and cool and like ruthless he is. Like he's even more cutthroat and ruthless than me. That's what Hiei said literally in the like, Mei's castle arc. So
so it just lost a lot of its like lore.
All right, so I think mostly Terukine and Sakyo were the same, but there were some changes they made. So for example, Terukine, so instead of it all taking place at Terukine's, like at his mansion or whatever, they end up like going to Sakyo's mansion, and like instead of Terukine owning, for example, the monster Helen or whatever, like that yokai,
the three
demon
yokai,
or the like, it's like Sakyo's place, and all the bets take place at Sakyo's place, which I think is fine for like the way they wanted to adapt it, but I do think kind of takes away from at least the more interesting part of Sakyo's character in a way, because like, you know, he has this whole thing planned out in the original anime, and like he's playing Terukine like a fiddle, right? Like he's literally like betting against all the other people, and he's getting all this money, and then he literally bets him out of like all of his money, right? Because he just bets so much money on Yusuke and his team winning, and you know Terukine has no idea like that it's already been staged, that Toguro is gonna like take the fall and things like that, and they kind of mention it in this version, but they don't actually do it. And then they decide, because Koenma comes and like puts up a barrier to stop the demon world from fully opening, and then they do a bet where it's like, okay, if Toguro wins, then I get to keep the demon world open, like, and you know, and if you win, then I'll get rid of the hole or whatever, I guess, whatever they're doing. And so then he decides, okay, you're gonna be serious now, Toguro, you have to actually take him down now, you know, which I get it, they did it for this story, but I don't know, I like the other version better.
Same. Like, the anime version has a lot more like thought put into it, and this is just It was a little rushed in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Though Sakyo's character still did good despite being rushed,
Yeah,
I thought.
no, I think so. And I think Tarukane, for the most part, you know, he's kind of one-dimensional. So, like, you know, I think the actor got it perfect. It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, there was no way to like mess him up.
No, it's hard. You have to
really,
yeah, I mean, the only way they could, I guess the only way they could mess him up is make him a good character. Like, I don't know, like a really nice character who's like, actually, I don't want to hurt people anymore. Like, I don't know what they could do to mess up.
Yeah, then I think then there would be a revolt if they did that bad too.
Oh my god. All right, then Then next I wanted to just go over some nitpicks I had. So these are things that like I don't think necessarily takes away from the show, but they're just things that kind of annoyed me a little bit. So like, yeah, feel free to add any if you have some read or if you have any commentary online, you know. So Yusuke, they never got Yusuke's funeral money back. Okay, those bullies, they stole the money because you know the guy who got bullied, right?
Yeah,
he came to the funeral with some money to give Yusuke's mom, like you know, to help her out, whatever. And those guys, the bullies, stole it from him. They stole the money from him, and then he turned into a yokai, and then they ran off with the money. So they never, and no one ever tracked that money down again. Like literally, Kuwabara hit the bullies while they were taking the money from him, but he didn't take the money back from them. Like he just caused a scene and then left. And I was like, what?
Yeah,
you at least get the money back. Come on. It just bothered me.
Yeah.
Like it's just bothered me a lot. I mean, it's not a big thing, but it just really bothered me. Also, I've already mentioned this before, but I think Hiei and Karama are way too goody. Also Yusuke. I think all the characters are way too goody in this version. Like
they're all way too good.
They're way too squeaky clean. Like it's like, no, like I mean, yeah, Karama for the most part is really good in the anime too, but when he turns Yoko Karama, he is ruthless. Like that is no.
Yeah.
He cannot be the same.
But he was still too good even then. He was still too good.
He was still too good. Yeah, he was way too good. And even like, you know, especially with Hiei, like he literally in the original, he kidnapped Keiko for real. And actually, he literally tried to turn into a demon. He literally made it so she would turn into a demon, but luckily, you know, they were to defeat him, so she didn't actually turn into one. But like, he was literally trying to turn her into a demon. He literally like hit her with the sword.
He literally was like a bad guy.
No. He was a really, really bad guy. But I would say this version reminded me, like I said before, more of like an action movie, like a Marvel movie than Yu Yu Hakusho. Like it really felt like a movie. Like it really felt like. Okay, this is a very self-contained story that is in this one movie, and then we put a little bit of something at the end, so maybe we can have a sequel, but nothing that, you know, we tied up all the loose ends, so it's fine. Like, we don't need to.
Even Marvel movies are a little bit more gritty with the characters having more like
that's true.
More like good and bad. They're not like all like good.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, I don't know why they made them so squeaky clean when they literally had a source material there that made them more complex. Like I don't understand. So like I think you mentioned this a little bit earlier, but like Botan's outfit, like it's cool. Like I like the kimono. I like the way it looks more kind of modern,
decorative, and
she's got a little. She's got the little white boots and things like that. But I just remember Botan in the anime, she had a lot of different outfits. Like I remember especially when she'd go on like, missions
she
with
changed a lot.
Yusuke, she would change her outfits quite a bit and try to think where things are more practical.
Depending on the situation.
Depending on the situation, right? To make it, but like the boots are cool, but I don't know, they seem kind of impractical to always be wearing. Like I don't know, like I just think they could have done a little bit more with that. Kuwabara's hair,
they could have done a lot.
They could have done. In general, they could have done a lot more with Botan.
More. Yeah.
Definitely. Kuwabara's hair, not a big thing, but his character's supposed to have red hair, at least in the anime.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be like the whole style. Up and stuff.
Yes.
And I get that they're making it more. Yeah, I get that they're making it more like trying to make it more modern, but like there's still people today in Japan that make that style.
Exactly.
It's still like a gang thing to do.
It's very much, and also it's a very big characteristic of Kuwabara. Like if he doesn't have the hairstyle, it doesn't really look like him. And so and they could have done it. It's something that normal humans do, so they totally could have done it, but they just didn't. And
it was a real hairstyle. It wasn't just an anime hairstyle. Like in a lot of cases, there's the anime hairstyle, but this was a real one.
An anime hairstyle. This is a real person hairstyle. So you could have they literally could have done that. And I did read something online where it says apparently Kuwabara's hair was turned orange because I don't know if this is real, but this is what I saw online. It was saying that apparently it's trying to kind of allude to how teenagers in Japan would try to dye their hair blonde, but then it actually ends up turning red or something like that. And so like maybe
or
it was
orange or something.
Yeah, orange or something like that.
Okay.
And so
maybe
they were trying to say, well, actually his hair's supposed to be blonde anyway, so we'll just make him blonde. So that's the only thing I can say to try to defend them, but like I don't really actually.
No, I think like it being orange would have added to the character.
No,
because,
I think
like,
the orange would have been better.
His character is kind of like silly and like kind of messes up a lot. So like messing up your hair dye would have your hair like bleach job. I mean, like would have like been more realistic to his hair.
Yeah, I wish he would have had the orange hair. Definitely.
Yeah, and not a professionally done hair.
No. Also, why did Elder Toguro pretend to be Hiei? I did not understand that at all. That didn't make sense either. It didn't make sense to me at all because it's like, okay, yeah, I get he wanted to kidnap Keiko to bring Yusuke to Sakyo's place, but like, why dress up as Hiei? Because all that's gonna do is waste time because he's gonna go fight Hiei, right?
Yeah, and he did, and then they're like, no, it's not actually.
And the only reason
happening.
they stopped fighting is because Kuraba literally came and said it's not him. Like it's somewhere, they're somewhere else. Like he doesn't have them. You know.
And then Yusuke just believes him.
Yeah, and then just go, and then y'all just go, right? And it doesn't make sense. They literally wasted more time, right? I guess they wanted to show.
It wasted more time. That scene was unnecessary.
Yeah, I guess they just wanted to show that he could transform into different people. I guess they wanted to show that power, but I wish they could have done it another way because it just didn't make any sense at all. And also, how did Yusuke find Hiei even that second time? Like, how did he even find Hiei
none of
where
this
he
makes
was?
Sense.
He had no idea where Hiei was.
Where Hiei was chilling for a month.
Yeah, he had no idea where Hiei was.
You wait here. I'm going to fight you when I come back.
I remember literally the first time he was looking for Hiei, Koema literally had to tell him, oh, he's here. Yeah, he's going to show up here. I think he's going to show up here because, this is where they kept Yukina. Mm-hmm. And so it made sense. But like in this version, no one tells him where he is. He somehow magically finds out exactly where Hiei is, starts fighting him, and like it makes no sense. It made no sense. I don't understand why it was there. I think it did not need to be there. Elder Toguro could have just kidnapped her himself. Like I don't know why.
He could have. Yeah, it would have just been fine. Yeah,
I don't know why he had to transform to Hiei. It was, I guess, to call back to the anime. I guess, but like, hey, if you're gonna don't do that.
If you're gonna change, like, if you're gonna just get rid of like that entire arc, you should just
exactly just get rid of all of it. Don't try to like be like they try to have their cake and eat it too. Way too much.
They did. They really did.
It's like, no, it's not the same. It's not the same. Also, the fact that they tease the Dark Tournament arc because they like mention that there's like a tournament that goes on the island that Sakyo lives on where they have like demons fight each other, and like they do this through exposition through Kurama, but they don't actually have the Dark Tournament, which is like literally the most popular arc in Yu Yu Hakusho for most fans. Like that's literally like the most popular arc, and they cut it out, most of it. And so that's, I think that they put the Bui and Karasu like fight scenes or whatever in there because I guess they try to appease that like audience, but like without the Dark Tournament it literally makes no sense. So I don't care. Like if you're gonna cut it out, cut all of it out. I don't want to see random battles just because they were popular. Like no, thank you.
Yeah, it wasn't worth a while. Yeah.
Yeah. And I already talked about this a little bit, but like just bad CG sometimes with the Toguro brothers, especially when Togoro's final form comes out. Like it just looks so like CG. Like it's fine. I'm not against it, but yeah, it just looks kind of silly. Like, because it's just
it's not like too. It's bad, but it's not like
it's not like
it's not good.
No, it's like it's fine, it's acceptable, but it's like it for a moment I was just like, wow, this looks really fake. Like this is like so bad.
Which is funny because it starts out fine, right?
Yeah.
And then why does it suddenly like just look weird?
No, yeah.
Why does this happen?
yeah. It's really weird. And finally, my last nitpick is everyone, especially the villains, though, they're much weaker. Is much weaker in this version, in this adaptation, because Yusuke literally just gets his powers and now he's able to defeat Toguro. Yes, he has a little training or whatever, but like it's like literally like a month or something, and then he just
and that doesn't build anything.
Genkai's powers, and now he can defeat Toguro. Like what?
But then he doesn't even really. Where does he even use much of Genkai's powers? It's not really. It doesn't make sense.
I don't know.
That he's like using, it doesn't make much sense, does it?
I don't know. I have no idea.
He just uses his
Nope,
spirit
nope.
gun, and he's like, bam, all done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Toguro dead.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense
It
at all.
doesn't.
It doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense at all. Whereas in the anime and the manga, there's a build up to it. You know, there's a lot of battles he has to go through before he gets to Toguro, so it makes Toguro much more menacing, much more of a threat, right? Whereas in this version, it's like, whatever. He beat Toguro literally a month after he died or something, like, or 2 months or something. Like, he literally came back, got a few powers, did a little training, and it's like, okay, bada boom, all right, he's dead. Like, you know, like, it's not that much of a struggle.
Yeah, like I really feel like they shouldn't have done they shouldn't have done the Toguro brothers arc. Like they should have really
I don't think
at
so.
the very
I think they should have just
yeah. Like, at the very maximum, do, like, the 3 beasts, right? The 3 holy beasts or whatever.
Yeah.
Where,
the
like,
four,
at the end, Yusuke dies, right?
Yeah,
and that's, like, a really big scene. Yeah. It's right before the Toguro brothers. And then the Toguro brothers could be, like, teased for, like, a next season or something.
Yeah,
that would have been much better.
Been fine. I would have been fine for them to even get up to the Rescue Yukina arc and not have the way they did it here, where, like, even just where they think they've defeated the Toguro Bros, but then they find out, oh, actually they're real alive, and then they do the Dark Tournament arc. Like what would have been my idea is that maybe they did the 4 Saint Beasts, and then
it was 4. Sorry, you're right.
It was 4. But the 4 Saint Beasts, then do the Rescue Kina arc. They get introduced to Toguro, they think they've defeated him, and then the last second or whatever, or the last little clip, we see Toguro stand back up or something like that, or we see that he's really actually alive.
And then they would be like hints to like the next season or something,
and it'll be the Dark Tournament.
That would have been much better.
Yeah. And they could have done this. I mean, honestly, I think they could, if they did all this in 5 episodes, I think they could have even done that in 5 episodes. What I've preferred for them to do is do it in 10 episodes. Then that way they have time to flesh out all the characters and get the stuff in there. We've had time for the characters to bond with each other. Have development. And then we see Toguro, and then we think he's defeated, and then we find out he's not. And then the next thing is the Dark Tournament arc. And then I feel like even the Dark Tournament, you could cut it down to 10 episodes. I think you could do it. I think it's possible. Like, cut out some of the like less, you know, interesting fights, or like cut out like some of the stuff, like, 'cause there's a lot of extra stuff that's added in the anime that is like in between, which is nice for character development, but it's not necessary to the story, right? So there's a lot of things that you can cut out, and I think in 10 episodes you could do it. You could do the whole Dark Tournament arc.
It's possible too. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And so that would have been a much better trajectory, but they didn't do that.
They did not.
Okay, so
unfortunately,
yeah. All right. So then, how do you feel this show honors the source material? Do you think it honors it well, or not so well, or it's okay?
Honestly, not that well. To be honest, like I'd say like the lower end of mediocre.
No, I feel like for the source material, no, it really does not honor it much. I feel like some of the actors really got some of the characters down. I feel like that was really good. And I feel like there was a spirit there in some places, but I think definitely the source material is so much better, which, I mean, of course I assumed it was going to be better, you know, from the beginning, but
anyway, it's going to be better anyway, but
yeah. So this part actually I had a little bit of trouble with, because like I've never really thought about representation in Yu Yu Hakusho before, because I literally just watched it when I was like a kid and then rewatched it a bunch of times. I never looked at it through like a representational lens at all. So I have some things that when given the question and really going through it and I guess kind of nitpicking, I could find of like representation. But is there anything that you noticed in the show of representation and how it was handled?
Representation as in, I think like the weird like sexual parts of the show, right? Like, because there were like some unnecessary sexual parts of the show that were like kind of gross and and like molesty or just like there's a part where there's a trans character that was kind of unnecessary.
I forgot to mention that, and I literally just rewatched it this week. I forgot to mention that character.
Botan was actually the best part of that, because Botan was like,
don't look up
sure that
her
Kuwabata wasn't like a little jerk. But like it was all kind of like I'm glad that was taken out actually of the live, because it was and it was, of course, it was made in the 90s and there's like some things that you can like forgive in some ways, but Like, I am glad that they like modernized that part and took it out, because it's just also gross just watching like teenagers, and like I'm an adult. I don't want to watch teenagers do things like that. You know?
Yeah. It's kind of disturbing. Because
even though realistically teenagers are little jerks.
Because Yusuke literally gropes her. Like that's the thing. Like,
he literally gropes her.
Yusuke's much more of like I didn't go into this that much when we talked about character changes, but like Yusuke's way more, like we said before, way more of a not so great person, like in some ways, like in the like overall he's a good person, but like he does some really disgusting things. Like he literally lifts Keiko's skirt up in the original anime, like looks up her skirt and stuff like that, you know, and tries to look at her panties.
That was a popular anime thing back in the day. But I'm glad that they removed that, because that was kind of gross.
No, I'm glad that's gone.
Yeah,
that's true.
But like, I didn't pay as much attention because, like, of course, like I was more paying attention to other things, and I guess I tried to ignore the things that I didn't like. But you go ahead. I think you have a lot better like ideas.
I just things I just thought of things that I usually do, because I've done the show like a little bit. I've done a few episodes of this podcast, and so like we usually talk about these things more in depth with a lot of dramas and stuff, and so like just things I think about when I talk about those. For example, parental neglect. That's the thing with Yusuke's mother, who literally is always
that's a really big thing.
I forgot to mention this in the content warning, but also alcoholism. Like she's always like drinking. In the original
anime, the live action she didn't. In live action, there's not much
in live action she didn't actually drink, but that's true. That's true. You don't get as much.
That as a nitpick. I forgot to mention that because like his mom. Like the reason why he's a delinquent, right, is his mom is like that. Like she's a little bit like rude or whatever to him, but it doesn't like show the true like full extent, right?
She is
or
like
how she makes a complete
180. She's neglective. She's totally neglecting him when he like the first time when he's alive. Like she like they have a little bit of the one scene where she's like, okay, well if you're gonna skip school, give me some coffee, and then if you're not gonna go to school, then you should like just start working because get a job because it's it's hard for me as a single like woman, as a single mother to raise you, so like you should make some money. They left that part in, so like she does say that in the anime as well. She is like that, where she's just like, they don't show how much she's always like going out, she's like always drinking, she's always like, because they don't have time to do that, because like they literally they literally kill him and even revive him in the same episode, right? I think. Like
they do.
Like it's really quick.
Same episode.
It's really quick.
It is.
So like they don't have time to really flesh it out, but like in the anime, you can see like the mother. She is always drinking. She's always going out for days. I remember one of the episodes, like when Yusuke's already like been brought back. He's like, oh, she's gone out to drink. Oh no, he hasn't been brought back yet. But like he's about to be brought back, and then he needs someone to like literally like kiss him to come back, which they cut out. Of
that's
version.
right. They cut that out too.
Yeah, they cut that out. I guess that's not cool enough for this version.
I think that's fine to not.
Yeah, I know it's fine.
I actually thought like his revival was better.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine, but like, they cut that out. But the thing is, like, he had given a dream to like 3 closest people to him, which were Atsuko, his mother, Keiko, and Kuwabara, and the mother literally went out drinking, and he was just like, oh, well, she's gonna be gone for like days then. That's like 3 days. She's not gonna be back for a while. Like he's literally
she's not gonna be back in time.
She's going out on bender. She's just like always drinking, and like she's a very neglectful parent. And like after he comes back, she does become better. I mean, she still does drink, and she's still, I wouldn't say is the best mom, but she definitely like steps up a little bit more after he dies. Like I think she realizes like how she was taking him for granted.
She gets better.
She does get a little bit better. So we miss that character development from her as well in this version. And of course bullying, which is also in the original, but in this version I feel like they focused on it even more. Like they focused on bullying a lot, and I felt like they spent a little bit too much time on it, to be honest, but
it was a little too much.
There is obviously bullying a thing everywhere.
Too much time on the bullying, not enough on the abusive teachers.
Exactly. Because in the original, there are abusive teachers who really are like out to get Yusuke and Kuwabara. Like they're out to get these like delinquent kids, and they want them to fail, and they want them to like quit school, because in Japan, and I think a lot of Asian countries, but I know specifically in Japan, I know like your school like reputation decides like what kind of like students you get, and like probably even I think tied to funding as well, things like that for public schools. And so
and the supposedly stupid kids are not allowed to like hang out or talk to the kids from the good schools. Like the teachers will even push that. They did that to my husband too.
Oh God, that sucks. Yeah, that's horrible. But yeah, they do that. Yeah, it's like they literally, it's like a totally different system. It's like if you go to a bad school, quote unquote, it's like that's your whole reputation, and like you're not pretty much you're worthless. Like it's like, oh well, you're not gonna do well in school, and you're not gonna go to a good college, which means you're not gonna get a job. So you're pretty much worthless. You've already been decided from school that you're nothing because
they
you're
basically
not going to
decided
the right school,
your trajectory when you're a child.
yeah, exactly. And so like, you know, you have the teachers are really abusive to Yusuke and Kuwabara, and they even tell Keiko, I remember in the scene like in the maze castle arc, like, oh, you should stop hanging around Yusuke because, you know, he's like, you know, no good, and like you can do better than that, and like because she's really smart and really good at school and things like that, and like they just don't think she should even hang around him, right? Because it's like, oh, you might like rub off on you or something. And so like, yeah, they really treat these students really bad. And there's like another teacher like who's I don't know, is he the head teacher? I don't know, he seems like he has more power than the other teachers, so maybe he's like a head teacher or something. I don't really actually know his position, but like he is actually like, I think his name is Takanaka, and he's actually like way nicer and like, you know, actually tries to support Yusuke and wants him to do well, and like, you know, so you get to see abusive teachers, but you also get to see the good teachers who are trying to help him out. And he goes to the funeral as well, and he actually ends up like, because the abusive teachers talk crap at the funeral about Yusuke, and he ends up actually like calling them out and being like, how dare you be disrespectful like at this funeral. And so, like, and
those were all like really important scenes.
For the characters, I think for Yusuke and for these characters, right? So also being an outcast, you know, obviously Yusuke is very much an outcast. He's a delinquent, he's like abused and also seen as like this like just really just horrible person who is probably gonna is in a gang and like is probably gonna like kill you or something. And so like people like just stay away from him for the most part.
They're scared of him.
They're scared of him. All of them are scared of him. But then like Yusuke, so they're scared of him. But I remember Keiko, like one of the friends, was like, "Oh my God, how can you talk to him?" Like in the anime, they're like, "He's like so scary," and then she's just like, they're like, "Oh my God, I heard he's in a gang and like he has all these like people he can just like summon immediately." And Keiko just kind of laughs because like, "Oh no, he's just like he barely has any friends. Like, you know, like she's probably like his only friend."
He's like, I'm his friend and that's it.
That's it. He has no friends. There's no one he can call. There's nothing he can do. But they've built this image of him because he's an outcast, right? And because he's a delinquent, right? And so, they
did it a little bit, but not a lot.
Not as much. Not as much. So they did it a little bit, which I think is, I think it's good to show that, like, even if you have this reputation, it doesn't mean you're actually like that, right? So I think that's good. Also, there's a whole thing about not knowing your worth, which there's a little bit of that in this show, but they don't have as much time to flesh it out, obviously, as an anime does. Through the anime, you really get to see that, like, the reason why Yusuke, because you see, like, why he kind of just assumes, like, people are gonna think the worst of me anyway, so why even bother? And, you know, I am kind of trash, and so I should just be treated this way, and it's fine, right? Where that's why, that's kind of part of the reason why he also saves the kid, is because he doesn't think his life is worth as much as this kid, right? And even when he's dead, he's like, oh, it's fine. Like, I don't need to come back. That's what he thought at first, but he didn't even want to revive himself, because he was just like, well, what's the point? No one cares if I'm dead anyway. So like,
and they kind of show that. They kind of show that.
Yeah, they show that. They do show that. They do show that.
It doesn't make as much sense, but they kind of show it.
They do show it. They do show it. Yeah. So I think those parts were really good. Also, like we said with Keiko, we have some strong women representation with Keiko. Keiko is very capable. You know, she's there for Yusuke. She's very considerate and she's compassionate to Yusuke, but also to Yukina when she meets her, and she helps her and like motivates her to actually try to escape again, even though, like, you know, she's seen people die trying to help her escape before and she was hesitant, but Keiko motivates her to go. And, you know, so I think Keiko's a really,
so that was really good.
Keiko's really well thought out in this version.
Although there was a lot of strong female characters that they took out.
Yes. That's
not the best for representation.
So I said with Keiko, okay. Yeah. Strong women representation with Keiko. Other ones, Genkai a little bit, but they did her character dirty. Yeah, they kind of cut out the other characters, like, actually being strong.
Yeah, Botan and Yukina also had strong points to them that were just cut out.
Not in there at all.
Yeah, not in there. All the really strong characters just became flat except for Keiko.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I guess that was like everything about Keiko was only that she was strong, really. Yeah. So I guess that maybe that's why. I don't know. It's hard. I feel like, especially when it comes to women, especially these kind of like shonen anime adaptations, it's like women are kind of like pushed to the side. It's like, well, they were there, you know. Yeah, they were there. They existed.
Yeah. And last, I just wanted to talk. This is just something I thought about when I thought of representation. I didn't really actually think about it too much before this, but like, and this is not specifically state it at all. It's not actually in the show at all, but I feel like Goki's character, especially because he like is specifically targeting children, it kind of like alludes a little bit to like child like kidnapping and molestation, even though the kids don't actually get kidnapped and they don't technically get molested. It's like they do have their souls ripped from them, which is like quite invasive. And they are lured to him by like his orb, like they see it and they're like, oh, you know, he literally throws it out so the kids will like pick it up and like come to him and he can take their souls, right?
Yeah, it wasn't as bad in the live action as it is in the anime. The anime is a lot worse with child molestation.
Yeah, exactly. It's like he's literally like wearing people out. Like it's like, it's really creepy. Like it's just, it just had a really creepy vibe.
Goki's a lot creepier in the anime.
Yes, he is. He really is. So, a lot of things are a lot creepier in the anime. Karasu is also a lot creepier in the anime. So it's but overall that's all I really had to say about the representation in Yu Yu Hakusho. And if there's nothing else, I
agree with all of your points.
Okay, all right. Then let's move on to the rating for representation. I had trouble thinking of this, honestly, because there's some good things, right? There's some stuff that I think they really get good and well, and then there's some stuff I'm like, they don't really talk about it much, or it's not really fleshed out much. So
it's not, a lot of it, like the entire thing is not really fleshed out.
No.
I'd say like it's more of like a 2.5 for me.
Yeah.
2.5 kisses.
Why do you say 2.5?
Because like I feel like they do touch on some things, but like and as you said, like it's not really fleshed out. So like it could be better, and I'm a little disappointed that it's not better. Like because in the anime, right, like they'll be like Kuwabara saying why it's bad, right, or like Botan expressing why something is bad. But like there was nothing here, like in the live action, that told us why something was bad. It was just there, and then like like it happened. I guess it doesn't really make you think about it.
That's true. Because also, like we said, like Yusuke is a much more like he's not a role model at first, at least
he's not
in the show at first, like in the anime at least. He's not really a role model. Like he's like, he's smoking, he's lifting up skirts, like he's not someone we're supposed to necessarily fully agree with, at least from the beginning, right? Even though he's a protagonist. And so I feel like in some of those scenes we see for example Botan or Kuwabara scolding him like for what his actions, whereas in this version we don't really get that much. And so it's a little I think I'm gonna go with 2.5 too, just because I think there was stuff like I think I mostly give the two kisses are mostly for Keiko, because Keiko is like I think really good in this version.
Right,
like I mean she's good in the original anime too, but like I feel like they really upped up her action even more so in this version. And so like I feel like she, I mean like not that she didn't do action stuff back in like in anime, but like I feel like in here they really made her like central to like the plot, and I think that's really great. So like it's mostly for her representation. I think she was done really well. I think some other stuff, it could have been handled more if there had been more time, right? It probably would have been better. I could have given them a 3 or maybe a 3.5 if they would have just spent more time. But because we don't get enough time with the characters, because we just don't build on them too much, it's just kind of hard. And because a lot of the women were downplayed more than they were in the actual anime. In the original 90s manga and 90s anime, like they were downplayed more than that. And so it's just kind of like, it's 2023 when this came out, right? It's like, come on.
They really could do better. Done better.
And so I'll do 2.5 as well. And who will you give your kisses to?
Also Keiko. Keiko is really good. Keiko was the best.
I'll give 2 kisses to Keiko, and I'll give a 0.5 to Genkai, just because I really think she just got done so dirty. I just feel so bad for the character. Like they really just did her dirty. I just really wish like justice for Genkai, because honestly she can't even come back at this point, right? Because like
no, she can't.
Because she's dead. Exactly, she's just completely dead, because in the Dark Tournament they had a wish, right, they get for winning the Dark Tournament, and so she was able to be revived. But like in this version, I don't know. I don't think she can come back
anymore.
She can't come back. She can't come back. So she's gone. Her character's just completely been ruined, and I'm upset about that.
Same.
I just want to add one thing before we wrap up. Just one more thing. Also, the fact that at the end they had the Elder Toguro brothers still like alive, right? That was like at the end. And
Yeah.
so that's kind of like a teaser. And I guess if they get a second season, they can do the Chapter Black saga. But the thing is, I feel like it's kind of weird. Like, I'm not saying they can't do the Chapter Black saga. Of course, they can totally do it, and I'm sure it'll be fine. But the thing is, the whole point of the Chapter Black saga is that they actually do have the whole opening, right? And they're trying to like close the hole. So it's going to be the exact same major plot line as the first season because they
I
cram
really
so much
don't
into
see. Yeah, I really
the
don't
first
see
season.
how they can get a second season. Like, it seems impossible.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they will because it seems like it's quite popular. Like, it's like the ratings are actually quite high, I think, and like it's number one definitely in Japan for like Netflix shows, and like it's doing really well. So I think they probably will get a second season just because it's doing quite well apparently. But like, yeah, I just wonder like what is going to be the main plot point? Are they just going to literally be like, oh, well, someone else is trying to open up the hole to Demon World, or trying to like, you know, dig a hole in Demon World again? It's like I understand even the anime, it was also that the case was that Sakyo wanted to do it, and Sensui, who's in the Chapter Black saga, also wanted to do it. But it's like,
Sakyo's gone now.
but
Sakyo's also gone.
Yeah. But the thing is, in that version though, in the anime and in the manga, it's like Sakyo had the plan to do it, but he didn't actually like follow through. He couldn't actually get it done because like he died before that, right? But in this version, it actually does happen. He actually does open it. It's just that Koema has the barrier, that's what he does in the Chapter Black saga as well. Is like tries to get a barrier
So what's
over
gonna
it.
happen?
What's
gonna
happen
what
again?
Can even happen?
So it's gonna happen again. Like, I don't know what else they can do. Like, it's just like, it just feels like it's gonna be a problem. I think the only way this could work is if they never have a sequel, but they made it so they can potentially have a secret. And I think that's the main issue I have with like whole like adaptation, is that they didn't believe enough in the source material to actually like take their time and try to like believe it could be renewed for another season and test it out, right? And like, you know, actually
they didn't
like,
give it much of a chance, even with just 5 episodes too. They could have done so much more with it.
No, they didn't give it a chance. They only gave it 5 episodes, and they were just like, okay, we're gonna rush this through. We're gonna get everything done. And so even if because we probably won't get a second season, so we gotta get everything in here now. And they just didn't trust they could get a second season. It feels like. And so they wanted to have their cake and eat it too.
It would be popular.
Yeah, they didn't trust it would be popular enough. And then, like, even though it's based off a popular anime, they were like, oh, it's not gonna be popular enough. And then but then they also were like, oh, but in case it does, here's Elder Shigure.
Just in case.
Yeah. They literally
let's ruin it and let's
that's
ruin
my
it so
biggest my biggest problem with this whole show is just that they tried to have their cake and eat it too much.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well, we've talked a lot about Yu Yu Hakusho. So time to wrap up. Thank you so much, Red, again. Thank you for coming on this show and helping me review Yu Yu Hakusho 2023. Is there anything you would like to plug before we go?
No, nothing. I'm very boring and I do nothing.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Okay, all right. Then, as always, you can contact the Accidental Kiss podcast through email at kiss.accidental@gmail.com. You can also subscribe to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for Accidental Kiss. Finally, you can also follow Accidental Kiss on Twitter at kiss.accidental and on Instagram at accidental kiss. So thank you all for tuning in. I know we talked a lot about Yu Yu Hakusho, especially if you've never watched the original series. There's probably a lot that maybe you didn't know about, and maybe we spoiled some things for the original series. But you know what? I think even with the spoilers, I think it's worth watching the original. It's a great series, and I think if you watch the original, you will see like what we're talking about and how much of a disservice this adaptation was just by looking at the original. And the only thing I can, I guess, really hope for this is that watching this version, because it's very condensed, will help motivate people to actually watch the real one, like watch the original. Sorry, I mean the original. I said the real one, but like the original version.
Well, it is the real one. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's true. I know, but I maybe I shouldn't have said that. But I hope that it will motivate you all to watch the original because it is worth it. And yes, it's like 112 episodes, but compared to One Piece, hello, it's fine. You guys, it'll be fine.
Yeah, it's pretty good too. So
yes, it's quite good. It's quite good. So let me know what you think of Accidental Kiss's new review series in the comments or on social media. Until next time, take care and see ya!
Bye-bye!
Stuck in an elevator where you accidentally kiss, betrayed by your only friend, so she can get the guy. The reasons above and more are why. The way we feel about Asian dramas is just so complicated. It is so complicated. Complicated.